Hello, 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 and welcome to yet another Q&A Thursday here at the Rag Company channel. Hope you're having a wonderful Thursday afternoon, morning, evening, whatever it is where you are. I'm Dane Hennon, your host, and to my left, the wonderful Sydney Gwynn joins us. And
so excited to be here. We have
sorry, I was like, give you a moment.
Sorry, we have a special guest in the back, right?
We do, cleaning up today,
Let's go
doing
see
the
who it
detail.
is.
We've got none other than Delaney Gwynn hanging out back there. How's it going, Delaney?
Good, I'm excited.
Good. And as I understand it, foam washes, you're like so advanced. You're just doing rinseless every day. Foam's not really your thing.
Yeah, I'm not super experienced, so I've come to the Rag Company once before and done a foam wash on my own car, but I had lots of help. So today, kind of being thrown into it, and I'm gonna do it on both of our cars today. But I'm excited, it's gonna be good.
Awesome. Thanks, Delaney. Well, we'll keep an eye on how you're doing back there. If you got any questions, obviously, you got a couple of experts, even more hiding behind the wall there. You can ask anybody. We'll come through and help you out. But by all means, you know what you're doing. We trust you. So I'm sure your mom trusts you to wash her car.
Totally.
Definitely, yes.
Anyway, guys, I hope you're having a wonderful one. If you haven't seen the Rag Company website lately, we're always doing fun stuff on there. There are some new products. I want to give you a heads up about the Slim Dryer if you haven't had a chance to feast your eyes on that. Oh, by the way, with the Memorial Day sale coming up, I figure we should also mention that. We got 20% off almost everything, and there's some killer doorbusters in there too. And you got a little over 5 days to go check it out. So you got everything from Styronogloss, the Cyclone Wash Mitt. You got Quick Detailer there from G-Tech. You got the blue collar towel. Lots of options. And I should point out, very important, the sticker, the special sticker we do for these holidays. Yeah. All the proceeds from this particular Memorial Day sticker go to the Gary Sinise Foundation. We've done this before. 100% of the proceeds go from that straight to the foundation. We found that's a really cool way to do it. We have veterans on staff here, and they said that's the way to do it.
Yes.
So we're really happy to be a
very
part
cool
of
sticker.
that.
I love
and if you're wondering, use the code REMEMBER at checkout right there on the page, just in case you forget. You can remember it that way.
Nice. Very cool. Well,
yeah.
and I have to give a shout out to that Slim Dryer.
You like it?
So we talked about last week that I had ordered it and it accidentally got shipped. So I was waiting. It was waiting at my house, but I've used it a couple times now. I love it. I was not prepared for how much I was going to love that towel. It's so great. Love it.
Oh, yeah. There's Lucas, the Ida Fro in action, holding up our special camo version of it. Love that. But it does come in some other colors.
Yes.
If you prefer a gray or a blue, those options are available to you as well.
I love the blue.
It's a really nice blue. I love It's a little brighter. It's a little more vibrant, and it really pops.
Totally different. Yeah, I love it.
If you're looking to wake up, you know, the towels on your shelf with a little pop of color, that's a great way to do it.
For sure.
Yeah, there it is. All right, guys. So I will need to make sure I update my VMix Social. That's the iPad here to show the questions and comments coming in today. But in the meantime, I hope you guys have had a wonderful afternoon. We're going to be populating this hopefully in a second here. It'll get updated. But in the meantime, keep your questions coming in. We'll fill those out. We'll carry you through the rest of the show. And to start things off, I'll say you have taught Delaney everything she knows.
Yeah.
Has she picked up like from other courses, other training classes, things like that? Yeah,
she's been to a couple other trainings. She is IDA, CD, and SV.
Nice.
And she's certified in a couple different coatings and interior detail classes she's taken. She's actually helped teach some, which she's actually a very good teacher. But she started working for me. So she'll be 20 this year, which is absolutely crazy. She started working with me when she was 10. She was my little sidekick. So she would come out, you know, whenever she was home, or especially during the summer, she would come out and want to just help me the whole time I was working. And so, you know, she started on wheels and tires, which is what she's starting with now. So she started doing that, then moved on to door jams. And now she helped me do a coating yesterday, a full correction. She's done quite a few coatings now, and she worked earlier today by herself. So she can do, you know, the full details by herself, and coatings we still do together, but yeah.
So she's effectively a pro already. Like
totally. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, no,
she's been doing details on her own for a couple years. So yeah, and she's we'll see in the second half. She you know, has done quite well for herself, and she bought herself a Jeep last year. Dang. So we'll see that in the second half. She'll get to wash her own Jeep, but starting with the red one.
Just in case you guys missed the memo, we are washing 2 Jeeps today. So
Yes.
she's actually got the SRT, Jeep here, the Grand Cherokee.
Yeah.
But then going to follow up with a 4XE Wrangler after that, which belongs to Delaney. She's pretty proud of it, I bet.
Yeah.
I'm just updating it. Man, the iPad is not playing nice today. So I'm going to go to my phone here, and I am going to take a look back through these. We'll get them up on the screen here. I've got Jimbo Slice holding out some popcorn. He just wants to,
just watch the
feast his
popcorn.
eyes on the show
Yeah.
and maybe catch a little bit of drama. Who knows? I'm not feeling that this is going to be a dramatic episode. Though. This is pretty chill.
Yeah.
Then I got Tamara Chase, one of our favorites here, popping in and say hello, everyone. Glad to see that.
Nice
I'm going
to
to
see you,
hand off
Tamara.
the iPad here to Nick. And then I've also got Tom Chinigo here saying, Happy Friday Eve from a rainy New Jersey. I'm looking forward to a great show as usual. Well, thank you. I'm looking forward to it too. And as soon as I got that thing working, then we'll pop them up on the screen.
It's been a little bit drizzly here today too.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
We had a Wi-Fi update today that changed everything. All the passwords changed, so I think that's what caught me off guard about that. Not to worry, though. We're going through. We got Humberto here popping in a million, hellos to everybody in there, which means First from Puerto Rico is in the chat.
Nice.
As always, he makes himself known. And then I've also got Dan Pfeiffer with a good afternoon and word up from a sunny Minnesota, USA.
Oh, sunny. Well, that's
He said it finally
interesting.
stopped raining there.
Yeah.
And happy Friday Eve, TRC gang. Is everyone ready for the long weekend? Actually, while I'm on that point, what are you guys' weekend plans? Throw it out there. If you got details, scheduled, things like that. Do you have any kind of...
No,
do you run your shop on the weekend, or is that mostly a weekday thing?
Yeah, no, definitely don't run the shop on the weekend. But we don't have too many plans. Maybe we'll go golfing. We've been kind of taking up golf as a family.
Oh, very nice.
So maybe we'll go golfing. But otherwise, for me, it's just relaxing. It's been this month. I've been home the whole month.
Oh,
which
okay.
It's probably been a couple years since I've been home for a whole month. And between the end of last year and the first couple months of this year, I was on the road a lot. And so and then in June, I'm gone most of the month. So I'm kind of just enjoying being home and being home on the weekends. And so probably just flowers.
When you're doing the rep thing, you're on the road a lot.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, taking a little break,
not
such a bad idea.
Yep.
I know we got lots of friends who can relate.
Yep.
Then I've also got Dan Pfeiffer saying, the weekend I'm planning on recoating my wheels with C4 and Exo V5 and the windshield with diamond glass. So he's pulling a little diamond protect
Very
there
nice.
as well.
Switching it up there. That's
cool.
cool.
I like that. Then I've also got Jimbo Slice saying, almost June, and it's 49 in Connecticut. This spring has been rough. In what way? I'd love to hear, Jimbo.
Yeah.
Then, as far as detailing questions, obviously you guys can throw them in here. I realize at the beginning of the show, it's oftentimes a bunch of hellos. People are just, getting in there, picking up on the vibe. And as we go along, I'll be sure to get the real questions going here momentarily. First in Puerto Rico asking Dan, wouldn't it be better with C5 for the wheels? Now, we talked about that last week, about your feelings on, why not just have a coating that can do all the things rather than having a specifically for the wheels, for the metal stuff. Like, again, when they talk about that, the big differentiator for those kinds of coatings is that they're rated as a high heat coating. Right. And that's what makes them special.
Yes.
But there's other coatings out there that work on paint just fine and
that's
are
just
high
where
heat
you want and that's where you just want to know from the manufacturer is their coating rated at a high enough heat point to make sense to put it on the wheels. So that's just something you want to check. That's definitely not a blanket statement saying all coatings can go on wheels. And a lot of manufacturers have them specifically for wheels, and that just gives you the peace of mind that it is rated for wheels. But it doesn't mean that paint coatings also can't go on wheels.
Sure.
So you just want to follow manufacturer recommendations for sure.
And just off the top of my head, I know when it comes to, say, like Diamond Protect, basically the majority of their coatings are going to be just fine because when they were developed, they were actually making them for satellites of all things.
Yeah.
So if you don't think that's a high heat environment, I don't know what to tell you.
Yep.
But they work there, so they should definitely work on your wheels and such.
Man, Delaney found the Viper chair.
Oh,
so now
she didn't
we're going
waste
to be
any
in
time.
trouble because
Go
we don't have a
figure.
Viper chair in our shop. So now I'm going to hear about this later.
Oh,
How come
really?
we don't have
Okay.
a Viper chair?
Is this a point of contention? Are you like holding off from putting a Viper in your shop?
No, I've wanted one forever, but I want a specific one, and
like a
hasn't
teal
happened.
one, huh?
Yeah, I wanted a teal one.
Do they have a teal one? I
They
am not
do,
aware.
but it's funny because a couple years ago, they advertised that they were doing custom powder coating.
Okay.
And I tried to get a hold of them, but I never heard back. So I was super bummed. But but now I'm going to have to hear it later. Like, what was that chair? That was way nicer than ours.
Pretty nice. It's very smooth.
Yeah, the casters work good on it. You're going to find
exactly
you like
what
the
popped
storage.
in my head, like, oh no, she found the Viper chair.
Yeah. All right, Delaney, continue to use that as much as you possibly can until you got to work on the roof. I imagine you can make do. Hit all
I
the
will.
side panels and wheels.
Yeah.
You got it.
Yep. It's going well.
So as far as right now, what you're doing, you're just doing like a pre-soak process, right? You're just hitting up the high traffic areas, the heavier stuff.
Yep,
Yes.
she's working on the wheels too.
Yeah, so I'm working on the wheels. I found myself all the armor products, and I decided to use an iron remover, which you don't normally need, but on these wheels, the brake dust is super bad. And so every few washes, I feel like it's good to get that in there. And I really like it so far.
Nice.
No, that's excellent.
It's working really well. It's very purple. It was needed. So that's
Once
super
again.
fun.
Yeah.
Pop
And-
of color.
Yep, and then I'm also using the Armor tire cleaner.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's what I've
So-
got going on.
Those SRT brakes are kind of notorious.
Oh,
aren't
yeah.
they?
They're
for
horrible.
just extreme
Horrible.
dust.
Yeah, and it could have this much to do with the way that I drive.
Oh, well, you know what? I'm not going to fault you for it. It's a fun vehicle. You have fun with it.
Yeah.
Do your thing. All right, moving along here. We've got Jorge. What's Jorge saying? He says, how you guys doing? I got a question. If I wash my cars every 3 months, is it okay to use Green Star every time I wash them? Thanks.
Yeah, probably, right? Every 3 months.
I mean-
amen to you if you don't have to. Like, hopefully it's because you don't have to wash them sooner than every 3 months, which,
Yeah.
wouldn't that be great? But yeah, I think, Green Star's fine to use every 3 months. Sure.
Yeah, I usually, like, you're actually being a little extra cautious, Jorge. What I find often is the case is people use products that are frankly like way too strong because they're either impatient,
Right.
they don't like going through a more considerate process. They just want to like skip to the final step. They're not
Right.
about the
Yeah.
journey, they just want the destination. So they use like hardcore products that
Yeah.
you shouldn't be using every time, like extreme clay bars, or like we're the higher grade ones, the tougher ones, or they go to
Yeah.
like an extreme like acidic kind of product that you shouldn't be using every time. But in the case of Green Star, I
Yeah.
mean, it's not gonna hurt
Yeah.
anything being used like that.
Yeah.
You're just fine.
Yeah. It's not degrading your surfaces. You're good.
There are many other products I would tell people to be more cautious with, but yeah, you'll be okay. Alex here. What's Alex Dewar saying?
Alex Dewar, catching this one later.
Oh,
But you queen slaying today. Let's get
Nice.
it. Love you all.
I like this.
Alex and Delaney
Yeah,
are good friends.
I'm feeling like a queen
Yeah.
today, so
Yeah.
I'll join the crew. That's all right. We got David Boyce here.
Nice,
David saying, good afternoon, everyone. Hey, Dane, is Anthony back from being incarcerated in Portugal?
Not yet.
Not yet. No, they're holding him. They haven't told us what the charges are yet, but in due time. I mean, they were suspecting he wasn't Portuguese enough to stay there or something. I don't know. So what are they doing? They're keeping him there. It doesn't make any sense. Anyway, moving along here. Thanks for that, David. He'll be back in another week or two. You'll be all right. ProShine Solutions says, hello, everyone. ProShine,
Hello.
welcome. And then I've got, Leslie saying hello from Belgium. I love when we have an
nice.
international crew
Yeah.
here. Just making it more fun. So thank you for popping in, Alessio.
Nice. I always wonder what time it is for everybody.
Yeah, I have to imagine it's quite late there.
Yeah.
And then we've got Nathan. Hey, it's Nate. Happy
Hi.
Friday Eve. Hello, sir. How's it going? Hope you're having a good one, too. Then I've got, Bo James with a question, a detailing question. I do love those on a detailing Q&A.
Yeah, for sure.
What's he saying, Sid?
Is it okay to foam, no pre-rinse, followed by a contact bucket wash, then rinse and dry? So here's my thing, Bo. I don't like to ever say that there's like one specific way that you have to follow. So I say yes. Now, is this going to be okay for every single car? Maybe not. But my personal car, which that's my personal car right there, when I do foam it, I rarely foam at home, but when I do, this is exactly what I do. I just go straight in with the foam, and then I do my contact bucket wash, and I rinse and I dry it. So the only time that I would switch you up here is if it's been a really long time since the car's been washed, or if it's really dirty. Then you're going to want to add in, obviously, the pre-spray. You're going to want to add in maybe a decon soap or a decon process, something like that. And so really it's like a case-by-case basis. But like on a car that, you know, you're washing every week and you're doing kind of a maintenance wash, this is what I do.
Okay. Simple enough. So, if anything, Delaney's being extra careful today. That's not a bad thing by any means.
Right.
Although
and that's the thing.
Say.
Yeah, you can go as down the rabbit hole as you want, but is it okay to do that? Absolutely.
Yeah, you're fine. And to be fair, like you'll see, the first half of this show, she's doing the Grand Cherokee here, the SRT. That one was normal dirty, right?
Yeah.
But the Wrangler, I saw the Wrangler.
Yeah.
It's a lot dirtier.
It's a lot dirtier.
A lot dirtier. So there's still a lot of stuff yet to come.
Yeah.
Then I got Bro Code here. What's Bro Code saying?
I have a few light scratches in my new gloss black wheels. What's the best way to remove them? They're not OEM. Well, here's the deal, Bro Code. You might just be, that might be where you're at. I have tried polishing, and I have all the stuff, right? The little Pixie flexible shaft thing. The gloss black wheels, kind of once they have that scratch in them, it's actually like indenting into the color.
Oh.
And the paint on wheels is a little bit different than, say, like the paint on, you know, the cars, where when we're polishing them, we're removing layers of clear coat, right, to get to a level surface where our eyes don't see the scratch anymore. That's just really hard to do on gloss black wheels. And unfortunately, probably when you go to wash them the next time, they're just going to scratch. So you can absolutely try to polish by hand. I would maybe use, you know, something like an Edgeless 365 with some rehab on it or something like that, and see if that gets you anywhere.
Sure.
I also, like I mentioned, you can use like the Flex, you know, PXE 80 with the flexible shaft. Am I going to tell you to go spend $600 on a machine in hopes that it's going to polish your wheels? No. That's just a tough one. I've not ever been super successful doing that. And when I have gotten them pretty good, the next time they get washed, they just get scratched again.
Yeah.
Gloss black wheels are tough.
So I
Really
know
tough.
it's not the answer everybody wants to hear, but you're pretty much saying you might have to live with it.
Yeah. It's just a very hard surface to keep scratch free. It's kind of like piano black in your center console.
Yeah.
It's just never going to happen.
Well, once
just never
piano
gonna
black
happen.
on the interior, once that stuff scuffs, mars, scratches even a little bit, it's just all downhill from there.
Yeah.
And I get it. Black wheels can look cool.
Yep.
I understand, as somebody who has black wheels on both his cars.
Yep.
I do, to a degree, just accept that they're not going to look as perfectly
They're never gonna
finished,
look polished,
scuff-free as
Yeah.
any other color wheel will.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean the other wheels that are lighter colors don't have their own share of like marring and stuff.
Yeah.
It's just that the black ones show up more.
Yeah.
So.
And honestly, we had gloss black wheels on the Challenger, and the first thing I did was take it down and get it powder coated with matte clear.
Nice. Okay. That's one way to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now I've got random reviews saying, aloha, what of your detailing products could I use to clean my concrete floor?
Oh, man. Okay,
Ooh.
let me think about this, because I've had to clean a lot of floors with detailing products. So honestly, I like Pearl, even though, you know, that's just a gentle soap. So if it's not like super crazy dirty, you can use Pearl. I've used, let's see. I mean, I like all-purpose cleaners too. They work pretty well.
Yeah. It really depends on, first of all, how dirty is the floor, the concrete floor?
Yeah.
And is your concrete floor finished in some way? Does it have like a clear epoxy over it or some kind of like polish done to it, or is it just straight concrete?
Yeah. And I also think it's something that experiment with, because the only things you want to stay away from is like a wash and wax, right? Something with something slippery in it. That's the one thing you want to stay away from. But when I clean my floors, I'm usually using and I'll just use the foam cannon. And I mean, I might just use whatever soap is in there, as long as it doesn't have a protection in it, because you don't want to make this floor slippery.
No.
But I mean,
we're on top of the white floor, the sketchiest floor to walk on.
Oh, yeah. But I have foamed, just regular like decon soap, like a Frostbite or something like that. I have foamed degreaser. And so honestly, there's a lot that you can use. You just don't want to use anything with any kind of protection.
All right. Oh, here comes Joey Belinsky.
Joey Belinsky.
With a shout out to none other than, would you look at that absolute pro in the wash bay? Hello, my friends. Shout out Delaney.
I'm not being a pro right now. I forgot what I was supposed to do.
It's okay. You're just having fun doing a foam wash.
Did you rinse the car?
Yeah, I just forget what we decided. Uh-oh.
Oh, you know what? Those things are different too. Just push it in hard.
We have weird quick
releases
there we
go.
where you don't even need to like pull back the sheet for it to work.
Yeah, so no, my question, I forgot what we decided to do on my car and your car. So should I foam it and then let it dwell and then rinse it?
Yep. And then you're going to
do it again.
And then foam again and contact wash. And you're only using Koch GSF. Wait, what is GSF?
Yes.
GSF?
I think that's what they gave her,
Okay, GSF.
Yeah.
Yep. Your car, you're using different soaps.
For the record, once again, she knows her stuff. She's doing rinseless washes every day when she's doing any kind of wash. There's no question she knows how to wash a car, but foam kind of adds a variable that she's not used to. And I was telling her earlier, it's kind of funny. It's the opposite of how probably a lot of you watching learn to wash, because for the longest time, I think most people my age and older would have been used to you use the standard soap, you throw some Meg's Gold Class into a a little bucket, and then you wash soapy everything. Rinseless wasn't even in my mind until we started doing TRC stuff, and my coworker she said, hey, I love using this stuff called Octo No Rinse, and that's basically the story of how we brought the first product onto the TRC store was Octo No Rinse. It was a chemical and she loved it, so we pretty much had to vouch for it. But yeah, I mean, that's a way to do it. Now you're using Absolute all the time. There's a ton of great rinselesses out there. Yeah. But it really does render the whole foam thing as I won't say obsolete, but I'll just say unnecessary for 80% of cases. Yep. Yeah, I think that's fair.
So you got it.
Yeah. No, now it's the fun part. The foaming is the fun part. So you're giving him a show. Yep. All right. Jure Hooray here saying, hi, was looking for the towels you have. What are good for interior cleaning? I have the Edgeless 300 and 365, but I feel like having something with a bit more scrub would be useful. Thank you in advance. So I'll let Sid speak to this one first, based on your own experience.
Yeah, I really prefer the 365. That's all I use on interiors. The 300's not bad. I just like the 365s because they have a little bit more body, a little bit more scrub. Now, honestly, though, something with a bit more scrub is going to be a little bit tough because really, the 365 is like the workhorse. That is going to do the best amount of work, but still be a gentle towel. But I would not choose something heavier like an Eagle, or I wouldn't even use an FTW to scrub.
An Eagle's not really going to scrub more either because of the long fibers. They're actually softer, and it's just kind of like moving a shag carpet over it. That's not the purpose for it, really.
Yeah. So honestly, I mean, I would stick with the 365. That's my favorite interior towel. For both, cleaning and finishing, but then obviously I use an FTW on the windows and on, my final wipe down and all that kind of good stuff. But there's probably not going to be another towel that's going to give you a bit more scrub.
I might have a couple recommendations.
Okay.
Just throwing it out there. If you're looking to change it up, by all means, 365s, as she said, the workhorse, they can do so much. But while it won't offer that much more scrub, it might offer a little bit more to move towards a pearl type finish. Something like the Rip and Rag XL is a good option. I would say very good bang for buck and a pearl texture. So it has a little more bite than your typical Terry style there. It's just a little more aggressive. Also, if you wanted to try and use, say, like a Spectrum or a Creature, you could also do that.
Sure.
Those would give you a little longer pile, but still keep kind of the more aggressive kind of finish that your Terry style towels have. It's just a little more pile on one side. But I do think that the pearl might give you a little more edge while not breaking the bank. You're still in a good, affordable towel range. It's not like you're going up to an FTW, which is like the whole other end of the scale and stuff. FTWs are awesome. I would use them for everything. But, if you're doing interior towels, they're just going to live a different kind of life. So you're not going to go wrong by doing like a Rip and Rag XL. That's an awesome way to do it.
Yeah.
That's where I'd point you if you're looking for something different to try.
Yeah. Very good. Very good.
Okay. Now, moving along here, I've got Carlos Colley. What's Carlos here saying?
On the satin black Tesla wheels, after performing a thorough clean, what can I use to bring the luster shine back to the wheels? So, one thing that I enjoy on something like this would be maybe armor detail beads. because after you have the wheels clean and everything, you spray the beads on there and then you rinse that off, and it kind of gives you, some temporary protection, beading, kind of the characteristics that we all like. So I would try something like that. But if you are looking for something to bring a little bit of shine, you can always go back with, which I do on every set of wheels when I'm doing a detail, is I take something like Defender or Amplify or Bead Maker, and I wipe the wheels down just to, give them a little bit of protection, and then it kind of gives you that little bit of shine.
No, great call. And then I've got Illusions Auto. What's Illusions here saying?
Yes.
Oh, sorry, I was asking you.
A lot of confusion. I couldn't hear
No,
for
you're
just one
okay.
second. A lot of confusion with the paint enhancements. Many detailers. We lost our screen. There we go. Many detailers believe it's a multi-step, but I believe it's a quick one-step, and sometimes only requires one section pass to see good results. Yes, this is something that I'm quite passionate about, this topic as well. So there's two things. So a one step is exactly what we're talking about, which is what I consider a paint enhancement. A two step would be more a true paint correction. And then there's all-in-ones, which are a one step that include protection in the product, right? So I always tell my customers, and I like the word paint enhancement because it gives you a little bit of freedom with how much correction they can expect. So even though in a one step, like say I'm using rehab and a maroon pad, I am doing a correction that would rival most two steps. But what I'm telling myself and my customer is we are going to get what we get out of this one step paint enhancement. I like the word because it gives you that, rather than saying paint correction to your customers, that word evokes a feeling in them that it's going to be perfect.
Yeah.
And so when
correction
you say paint
is correcting the problem entirely.
So I always tell my customers, I say, with this coating, I'm going to do a one-step paint enhancement, which is going to get out, and then I tell them what I think I'm going to get, 70 to 80% of the defects. But so I agree with you totally on this. There is a lot of confusion. And so I say one-step paint enhancement to my customers. But yes, it is confusing. And then there's also something to be said when we use the word paint correction, when we're using it like, okay, I'm working on this 55 Chevy and this customer's coming in specifically for a paint correction.
Yeah.
Well, that means that customer is coming in and he really wants it to be as perfect as possible.
Yeah.
So yes, I totally agree with this. I love using one-step paint enhancements.
No, that's a good point. And Piers, I've lost my internet connection here on the iPad. It is struggling for life here to get the next question up there. But I will say on this point, another thing that you run into with one steps is you get newer people who hear like a one step and they think that in that one step they have to just drill down and correct as much as possible in one step. It's like, it's not really the goal, the purpose there. Yeah. Like you said, it's an enhancement.
Yep.
It just, it's taking you from where you were to somewhere better.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you're going all the way. You're just somewhere better.
Yeah, and it lets you set appropriate expectations, which is the most important thing when detailing, is you don't want to overpromise, you don't want to have them overexpect, and it gives you a little bit of flexibility in that expectation.
No, that's a perfect summation of that one. Now, I'll just go ahead and scroll back on my phone here because the iPad is having a hard time, let's say. But as far as the rest of that goes, let's see, where were we? We're up here, and okay. I'm sorry to hold you guys up here. It really was just the comments. Okay. Joey Belinsky is saying, you guys got me my order in 2 days during a sale. That's a new record. I picked up some blue collars for the first time. That's awesome. Nice to see that. So hope you enjoyed those. Tell people what you think of them when you have a chance to use them. Maybe make like a short or a video or something out of them, Joey. We'd love to see them in action.
Very fun.
Then next up, I've got Steve Pearson here. Dang, that wash bay looked menacing with the lights down. Well, Steve, that's kind of been me behind the scenes saying, hey, I'd like the lighting in here to be a little less like fully lit and flat, and
Yeah.
I'd like it to be a little more cinematic, a little more moody. We can turn the lights down in different places and just have it in the spots that matter.
Yep.
Makes the whole area look a little more interesting,
Yeah,
right?
look at that.
So hopefully you guys recognize that and like it as much as I do. But if you like a washed out, everything is bright kind of area when you're working, I don't blame you. I understand it. But this is kind of a show as well. So
Yeah.
we're going to make you guys have a little bit of entertainment to go along with the education here.
Delaney's laughing. She must be having fun back there.
Delaney, how is it going back there?
We're doing pretty good. I am totally having fun.
Okay, good.
I think
Love
I just
to
had to
hear that.
believe in myself. I remembered how to do it,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna let this sit, and then I'm gonna go in with my contact wash.
Nice.
So we're doing pretty good. Yeah, I feel like I'm making a little bit of a mess, is why I'm laughing.
No,
Oh, that's okay.
Keep making
There's
the mess. That's what the wash
Stuff
bay is there
everywhere,
for.
but that's okay. That's part of the fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, this isn't like home. You can literally just spray as much as you want over that particular floor because there is a
Yeah.
drain hidden
Yeah.
underneath
Oh,
there. You can just
awesome.
go to town. Nobody's
Cool.
going to be mad at that.
Yeah, I was worried about that.
No,
But yeah,
you-
we're
you
doing
got it.
pretty good. I think it's gonna look really good. I was thinking about this. It's important to do the foam wash on my Jeep specifically because of all the like nooks and crannies and the cracks.
Yeah.
And so that was really good to get, like where you can't really put a brush, but if you can put the
Yeah.
pressure washer and some soap,
Yeah.
makes a huge difference. So like,
Oh, yeah.
like maybe your car didn't need a foam, but again, it's fun.
Yeah.
And that's why you do it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Well,
so you know what happened to Delaney's car yesterday? So we had
what
actually
happened
washed
to
this.
her?
We actually washed her
Wow.
Jeep this weekend. But our neighbor who had let his yard overgrow, he doesn't watch the show, so I feel like I can say this.
Just
He
spill
let
all
his
the dirt. Here
yard
we
just
go.
literally go to you know where, and he had to hire this contractor to come literally like take 3 trailer loads of debris out of his
Oh,
yard.
just rip it
And so
up.
this guy, I mean, he's just sawing everything down, right? And then he
Wait
takes
a
it.
second. You live in a neighborhood that I would
know.
swear has like
I know.
crazy HOA.
I know, right?
It's
Maybe
that
the
kinda-
HOA got after him.
It's
I'm
got
not sure.
kind of Stepford vibes, I'm going to
Yeah,
say. a
no,
little
totally.
bit.
I mean, there was weeds
cool,
growing
but-
everywhere. The bushes hadn't been trimmed in years. It was
Oh,
crazy.
my.
So this guy comes, and I mean, bless his heart, he's been mowing stuff down and chopping and sawing and all this stuff. But then he comes with his backpack gas-powered blower and is blowing everything out, and it went all over Delaney's car.
Oh, that
Yeah.
explains a
Yeah,
bit.
yeah. And then
Oh.
it rained. So
Yeah, insult to injury. I
yeah,
get it.
Yeah,
Terrible.
it was terrible. Yeah.
well,
then
I'm sorry, Delaney,
So I
that
had to be the
sucks.
person yesterday that it was so funny. Everybody was complaining about it. And so I go, watch this. And I opened up the garage door and I took my ego blower and walked out there and just started blowing everything off her car. And I looked over at him, blowing everything off. And then I pulled the car in the garage and I was just like, oh,
I want you to see this.
yeah. Just in case you don't feel bad, let me show you how I
Oh,
feel.
man. Well, next up, I've got Wesley Frampton here saying, not sure the name of the towel, but the newer ones in green that had the heavier GSM that was shown during the TRCMA event, when will they be available?
Ooh, I did hear the answer
I've heard
to
some
this.
whisperings. What did you hear?
I heard that they get here tomorrow.
Holy cow, that's really soon.
Yeah, I did hear that.
I was going to kind of point
Lucas
to next
backed me
week.
up on this. I heard Lucas say it
but
earlier that they're going to
if
be
you-
here tomorrow.
You heard they're sooner. Hey,
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome.
Yep,
So
very cool.
if they don't show up tomorrow, feel free to take up all of your frustrations
Yep.
with Lucas,
Yeah.
who probably told Sid this.
Yes,
So,
he did.
Lucas is a wonderful customer service person, does a great
Yes.
job, but I'm
And
suddenly
he's
going
been
to
keeping
hold him
tabs
to
for
every
yes,
word
and
here.
he's been keeping tabs for everybody.
He has
so,
been popping
yeah.
in the office every time he gets a new update. He's like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
new update. So
Yep.
I appreciate that, Lucas. Thank you.
Yep.
All right. Tamara Chase, speaking of Lucas here, we got Tamara Chase. I was hoping the M22 would be here when I put my order in the other day, but I got my Mata and that awesome sticker.
Oh, I
Yay.
love the sticker.
No,
Yep.
that's great. Glad you got that. And then I've got David Boyce here saying, Sydney or Dane, what's the name of the Beadmaker and Coffee theme intro song? That's going to be a you question.
Ooh, you know
Shazam
what?
says a horse is not a home.
I'm not sure. That is so funny. A horse is not a home. I don't know the name, but you know what? Fun fact is we're actually getting ready to switch it next week, and it's been that same song for like 2.5 years. So
Oh, man.
we are getting ready to change it, but I'm not sure what the name of it is.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. Oh, also says, it's amazing. Delaney is a spitting image of SPG. And then he proceeds to tell me that my hair is real, which, if you're me, you've known that all along, but also factual. I'll take it. Thank you for
Delaney is a spitting image of me.
Both things are true.
Yeah, I do think that she is cuter than I was at her age, but she does look a lot like me. She doesn't like to hear that, and she doesn't think that, but...
Delaney, is this cringe? Are you having a hard time right now?
A little bit. It kind of depends.
What does it depend on?
Well, sometimes I think I look like my dad.
Well, you probably do. You probably do. But here's the deal. Both of our families are from Denmark. So we have very similar traits. And so both of our kids came out like the cutest version of both Mike and I put together. And gosh. They're both just adorable. But they both look 50-50 just like us.
Yeah, it's
that's the idea, right? That's how it works usually?
Yeah.
I don't know. Every once in a while, somebody gets really surprised.
Yes. Every time, somebody always has to ask some questions sometimes.
Yeah. Have a talk with the mailman. David Cervantes here. What's up, guys? And Sydney. Hello. Welcome.
Hello, David.
Happy to have you here, David. And hopefully the whole truck repair thing went okay, as I understand it.
What's with the tires after his name? Did I miss that memo?
His coworkers called him David Blowy because he accidentally popped tires
and
on the work truck, and that's his
picture,
thing.
Yeah.
But David's claim to fame with us is that he drove Anthony and I to the airport after the event we did at the Creator Summit. So that was very nice.
Oh, nice. Very cool.
So shout out David for that one. Even though it was years ago, we still appreciate it. And then Bill Pearson here saying, hi, Sydney, Delaney, and Dane. Been a minute since I caught a live, but always enjoy.
Good to see you.
Thank you, Bill. Happy to see you here. And then I've got Joey saying, I still need Delaney's signature on a document. What?
Yes. What? Yep.
Yeah.
His stout certification.
Oh, geez.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, true.
Oh, he's going to hold you to that. All right.
We'll get that done for sure.
Because Mr. Keith Duplessis signed in place of her.
Oh.
What?
And he wasn't even here. So Joey would like a revised document with Delaney certifying him as stout.
Yeah, nobody even told me about this.
Because
I had no idea.
that's the person he had to prove it to.
Yeah.
So, fair enough.
Fair.
It's okay,
well, Delaney
you
was
run a
the
tight
one
ship,
that was going to teach him and say, you just wipe it off, Joey. Just wipe it off.
Oh, yeah. I love stout. It's so easy.
Then I've got Snail AE71. Is this a Toyota Corolla reference? Hi, Rag Company. Could I have $5,000 to jumpstart my business? Thank you for being rad. Wow, Snail. Definitely appreciate the enthusiasm. I like the attitude. You're jumping in there. You're not holding back. You're asking the big questions. Unfortunately, while I'm not the money person here, I can't really speak to that. I'm going to guess might not be quite as simple as that. However, if you're interested in doing a sponsorship thing, something like that, you want to carry our products, you want to do that kind of thing, check out our Grand Ambassador program. I am going to recommend you take a look at that. It's a really fun program, and we've been working on new ways to make it even more enticing for the people who do it. So look on Instagram and look up the Grand Ambassador program on the Rag Company profile. All right, next up, I've got Ron Yacht here saying, good afternoon, TRC family. Thank you, Ron. And then I've got Umberto replying to more people. I'm just cruising past the ones where it's like people having a totally separate conversation. And this iPad still has not updated itself, so I appreciate whoever's switching back there getting those up there. Glenn, I imagine that's you. Thank you. All right, Travis Aldridge. Let's pull him up. I ordered 5 bags of the blue collar towels. Are they good for quick detailing sprays and interior detailing, or cleaning rather? What would you say?
So I've not used them.
You haven't?
No.
Oh, okay.
I haven't used them.
I'm going to say yes. You can definitely do that with them. Throw them out there. Give them a shot. I think you'll enjoy them. But they are meant to be like a good bang for buck towel that's a little more dense. It's not like a rip and rag. It's more of a denser, somewhere more along the lines of like a Creature or Spectrum kind of density deal.
Okay.
But it's something fun to try. Also, Joey just got his, so he can kind of speak to it too.
Yeah, no, I haven't tried them yet. I need to try them.
Yeah, give them a shot. And then I've got Mike Willingham here. Mike says, I just got my truck painted. What is the recommended paint protection schedule recommendations? That's a lot of recommendations going on there.
Okay, so I just got my truck painted. What is the recommended paint protection schedule?
So, like, how soon could I put a coating on it? How soon could I seal it?
How fast could you put a coating?
Yeah.
So, again, I always am going to follow manufacturer recommendations, but it seems like the most average is about 90 days. So, 60 to 90 days. Now, I have had a lot of vehicles coming in the last year from body shops where they're just recommending 30 days.
Okay.
But I will only do that if the body shop recommends that. And even then, I'm usually waiting 45 to 60.
It feels like sometimes they're just looking to rush stuff, too.
Yeah. So definitely check the schedule. Now, it also depends on how it got painted. If it was baked, if it was baked afterwards, usually you can get to that quite a bit sooner than if it was just shot and then kind of allowed to cure on its own.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say safely, make sure you wait at least 60 days, but possibly longer, depending on how it was finished.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's very fair. I do think, it's one of those things where obviously the person who painted it, like, they're going to know what their particular paint is best for. But as a general rule, like, taking Sid's advice on this one, totally solid. Mm-hmm. Do that. I think too many people who are aware of, like, the world of detailing and coatings and sealants, they get so concerned about, what's going to happen to my paint if I don't protect it?
Right.
They jump the gun. And then they eventually regret it because weird stuff happens if you coat too soon, if you seal it too soon.
Yeah.
We've seen it.
Yeah.
Painted parts, like spoilers and things.
Yep. It seals up the pores of it, and it doesn't allow it to naturally off-gas.
Hazing, cloudiness, weirdness, all from like off-gassing and stuff. It's just, you trap that stuff inside, and it's no bueno. So, better to be patient.
Yep.
All right. Next up, I've got David Boyce. Sydney, is there any truth you can rinse off crystal wash by hand contact once applied? I live in an apartment, no access to a power washer.
Yes. So fun fact, I never pressure wash crystal wash off. So my normal wash process, obviously we do wheels and tires first, and I do use my pressure washer because I wash everything in the garage. So we use our pressure washer to do that. And then I spray the entire car down with crystal wash, let it crystallize, and then I go straight into my rinseless wash. So I don't rinse it. I don't use a pressure washer. I go straight into my rinseless wash, dry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fairly
so
straightforward.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Easy peasy. Then I've got Tamara Chase here with the very important question. Dane, did Baby Fisher come yet? Yes, Baby Fisher is here. I'm not going to say the name because I don't know if he wants people to know that yet, but I'm sure in due time he'll be happy to tell you. But yes, she's here. She's happy. She's safe, all that good stuff. So everybody is doing well from what I understand. And Anthony was popping by here just a little before the show.
Yep.
And they were hanging out. So just briefly, stopping by to say hey. But of course, he's got responsibility, so he had to dip again. But that's the way it is.
Yep.
And then I've got Ronnie Yacht saying, I coated a 2025 Jeep Wrangler with 847 miles on the clock on Monday using Diamond Protect Body 36. The owner came to get it and said it looked like it was coated in candy.
That's what you're hoping
Ron,
for.
I mean, that's the goal, right?
Yeah.
And the hope is the coating does its job, protects that thing from the elements, all that good stuff, and you don't have to worry about stuff happening to the actual paint underneath.
Yeah.
It's kind of the idea. All right, moving along, I've got Mr. Betonator. Which car would look better paint-wise after 5 years? A car that you can never put protection on but gets properly washed once a week, or a car that you only can get washed once every month but has protection? It's actually a fun hypothetical.
That is a fun one, and I'm going to answer this just based on my customers' cars. So cars that I did not coat, but I've still been taking care of for 5 years. So let's just add in there, they've been maintained once a year, and maybe they do run through car washes fairly often. They look okay, but then I also have customers who have had their cars coated for 3 years, rarely wash them. They come in for maintenance, and they look great.
Yeah.
So honestly, I mean, coatings do kind of let you get away with murder. Now, that's not to say that the car that didn't have protection looks terrible, but I definitely, I've been doing coatings for about 8 years now, little over 8 years. And I see a major difference in those that are coated versus not. I even see a major difference in those that were coated 8 years ago with a 3-year coating still look better, even though the coating's never been redone, because I'm not really sure the coatings ever fully go away. So, yeah, I think I'm still a fan. I'm really a fan of ceramic coating. I really am.
I'm going to weigh in the same on that one, but with a little analysis on how the whole timing thing works out. Because one thing about that that's interesting to me is, okay, you have the car that's like not protected at all, but it's getting washed once a week. If it's not getting washed but once a week, there's still that gap in time where you run into, you know, a bird could dump on it. All kinds of other things could happen to it.
Yeah.
And the paint on there is, once again, not coated, not protected in any way whatsoever. That stuff is attacking the paint directly.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of automatically going to result in more wear and tear on that paint, even if you are washing it.
Yeah.
If it's not protected, I really do think, like Sid just said, the coatings, the sealants, that stuff, they do make a difference. They do really work. And in the long term, you really, really see the difference.
Yeah.
You see the cars that get the yellowed headlights and the clear coat failure and all that stuff. Heck, even if they were being washed properly, I mean, to some people, washed properly includes proper protection added at the end. But assuming in this hypothetical, you're only washing it, you're just simply removing the stuff that's on it and leaving a clean slate with nothing behind, but no protection either. That stuff's going to wear faster, just straight
and
up.
Even just UV damage is
I was
really,
going to say,
really
coating
damaging.
sealants, they have UV protectors, and a lot of them now, the UV inhibitors.
Yeah.
That is going to go a long way towards ensuring longevity in your car's finish. And if you don't do that, no matter how good you are at washing, it's just not going to look as good after 5 years as the one that was coated, even if it was neglected otherwise.
Totally.
All right, moving along. That's a long-winded way of saying
Okay, I'm
it,
going
but
to give
I do think
Delaney a
that's something
time
worth saying.
check because she doesn't see the... So, Delaney, you have 15 minutes to finish that car.
Okay.
Which is good, you know, and you don't have to get to everything. Like, don't worry about if you don't get to the tire shine or whatever. But
Okay. Yeah, no,
I'm just
we'll be good.
I'm just giving you a time
got
check. Oh no, you're doing great. You're doing good.
Door jams.
Oh yeah, do the door jams.
You're like, I don't want to do it.
You know what? Here's a funny
it.
story about Delaney. No, this is honestly a funny story about Delaney. When she was about 12, because I'm saying this because I just was like, oh yeah, do the door jams, right?
Sure, yeah.
Because when she was like 12, I always keep my door jams clean. Mike always we never had dirty door jams. And when she was 12, probably 11, 12, when I started having her do the door jams after mastering wheels and tires, I will never forget the day that she turned around and looked at me because I had her start doing door jams, and she opened someone's door and she looked at me and literally went, do they just drive around like this? I mean, she was like mortified as if they were wearing no clothes. I mean, she was like,
I have to show you the door jams on my Flex. They are a nightmare.
oh my gosh. It was so funny. She was like, so people just drive around like this? Like she was just appalled that somebody would dare drive around with a dirty door jam.
What say you?
Yeah, no, the car though was like old.
Yeah.
And had like clumps of dirt in the door jams.
Yeah.
Like my towel was like picking up clumps of dirt.
Yeah.
And that's what I meant. Like, that's insane. Like, how do people not see, like, and like bugs, I swear, bugs, dirt, grass in the door jams. And it was like a small car. Like, that shouldn't be happening.
What I'm hearing is you could pot a plant with what you found in that door.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
And it was just like to the point where you couldn't fix the door jams anymore.
Yeah.
And that was my problem. And I was like 11. And I was like, I can't believe people live like this. Like,
Bunch of animals. Okay.
so weird.
Wow.
Yeah, so weird.
Oh boy. Well,
So
thankfully, I got a little help here from Nick. He's got this thing running, so now I can find correct page if you'll bear with me. Let's see. I'm close. Okay. We've got Umberto here saying we know what would be Delaney's next purchase.
Oh.
All
What
right.
would it be?
The Viper chair.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Until somebody tells her how much a Viper chair is.
Yeah, not my
You know
purchase.
what?
I
You're
mean, the
paying for
girl likes her
quality.
Lululemon, but that's a little next level.
So Joey here weighing in saying my first Viper chair shipped. I
don't-
can't wait.
I don't even want to talk to him about that.
Oh.
He had to admit to me that he bought one.
Okay.
Joey.
Well,
He didn't win it in the giveaway.
Nope. Joey pays for things sometimes. I'm pretty sure he would
did
tell you
have
the
to pay
same.
for that.
He felt it in his bones.
Yep.
All right. Michael Wilms here saying, firstly, many greetings from Detmold in Germany. Wow, that's great. Once again, I love our international audience here. What is the best method for cleaning the headliner? Oh, that's always a fun one.
Yeah. So
gotta be careful.
First step is to always be so careful. So no major, don't, if it's really that dirty, you just can't. So my kind of steps that I like is I will take, generally speaking, a towel, so like a 365, and I'll spray some, say, Express Interior or Carpet Bomber on it. And then I take my steamer and I steam my towel and get it nice and warm. And then I just gently rub the headliner. Yeah. If you have like isolated stains, say like somebody reached up with ketchup, maybe you could take something like that little, and this is the wrong name, I call it the mouse, the little blue mouse.
Oh, yeah.
What's it called?
The little
Ultra
VLB scrubber type thing. Yeah.
You can take that with a little bit of Express or something and kind of scrub at it and then wipe it with a towel. But the two things you don't want to do, never extract it, never spray and extract, never get water on it. Don't directly steam it because you're going to undo the glue. And so mainly it's keeping water out of it is really like the biggest thing. So spray your cleaners on your towels and just hand wipe, scrub. I do like the steamer on the towel to get it nice and hot, but you don't apply the steam directly to the headliner.
Nope, that's a good point. And boy, considering, okay, Michael, you're in Germany, so I'm just going to ask you, and you can comment later if you know, old Mercedes, old Volkswagens, I'm talking like as late as maybe the mid-90s and earlier, always had that like Crayola smell that you get. They smell like crayons up in the headliner there if you kind of just get it a little damp or you get a little warmed up and stuff. Yeah, it's that adhesive they use, right? Yeah. That was always one of those things that really stood out to me. But you can always tell when you're like in a, mid-90s or older German car because they smell like that. It's just kind of a funny thing.
Yep.
All right, Pro Shine Solutions here saying, doing my first detail on a cruiser bike this weekend. Harley Fat Boy. Just washing it and polishing the chrome. Any tips or things to be cautious of? Is KCX LS safe to use on the seat? That's Leather Star.
Yeah, so I really enjoy doing motorcycle detailing, and for some reason I always find it hard to describe it, but basically I don't really do a whole lot different. There's certain things that you definitely want to avoid. So obviously I do rinseless wash. I don't use a pressure washer on motorcycles. Generally speaking, I will use like my IK sprayers or something like that. Like I don't like to introduce a ton of water again. And so I usually do rinseless wash. That usually works out really well. I still wash the wheels and tires like normal. And then as far as polishing the chrome, I'm going to have to say what I generally use, which is not a product that either PNS or TRC carries. It's actually, it's called, it's made by Eagle One, and it's that weighting polish. And now there's a lot of good metal polishes out there. I'm just telling you, I have to say what my favorite one is, because it's like these weird, like cheesecloth type material. I don't even know how to describe it. It's almost like a really, really, really soft SOS pad, but it comes loaded with chrome polish, and it actually has protection in it. And so it's called weighting polish. And so you rip off a chunk,
so is it just
and you
like
polish the chrome.
All-in-one deal, or do you have to do something after?
No, it comes in like a tin can, a silver tin can, and you rip out this piece of like,
no, I can kind of
like
picture
nest
what you're
material
saying.
almost. And then so you just rip off as much as you need, and you polish with that, and that material is part of the polishing, and that's why I like it. Because if you use a towel or something, and this is going to be me on like bougie towels, is I don't want to ruin my towels with that black stuff. So I use this that comes preloaded with the chrome polish, and then it also has like a layer of protection, and then you just buff it off, and it's great. So that's how I polish chrome. But again, there's lots of great chrome polish out there. You can use your polishers, but that makes me nervous too, using a polisher, because I don't want to hit the back on something. So that's how I do Harleys, is with the weighting polish. And then the Leather Star. I do think it's safe, but I would do a test spot first to make sure that the seat is fully absorbing the Leather Star, mainly for the purpose you want to make sure that it's never going to be slippery.
Yeah.
So
that can have dire ramifications.
Right.
You
So
do
just
that
depending
wrong.
on how that leather is, if it's going to absorb it and not be slippery, which I've never found Leather Star to be super slippery, but just, do a double check. And then I even would do it and then go back and even knock it down a little bit more.
That makes sense.
The seats generally do need a little something, so not a bad idea, but just make sure that you're not making it slippery, because when they go around a corner, you want their tush to push to the side.
I know it's literally a Fat Boy, but there's plenty of ways you can still slip off one of those.
Yeah,
even
you
though
just want to make
pretty
sure you're
molded,
safe.
keeping you from falling off.
Yeah.
Don't want to.
I try to keep a lot of slippery dressings away from motorcycles altogether.
Same goes for the tires. Not to do that on a bike.
Yep.
But that's a very good point. And I was also going to say, in terms of my nickname being Papa Chrome around here, I should know that eagle thing. So I'm going to check that out, because that sounds pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right. Joey Belinsky saying, I've had the pleasure of washing that very vehicle. Please don't pay too close attention to the roof.
Oh, you know what? So here's the deal.
Well, Delaney got the roof just fine. She totally handled it.
Well, no, here's the deal. I know exactly what Joey's talking about. It is a wreck up there.
Oh,
but
really?
I bought it like that, and honestly, I have saved it. Most of it is sunroof up there, and I have saved. It has such bad water spots, and I've saved it for a class.
Okay.
To specifically polish up there, and then it's just never happened. But yes, and I mean, Joey, nobody else but you have seen it. So
now it's mostly panoramic glass up there, is it
but
not?
it's really water spotted. And that's what he's talking about. It's a wreck. It does not match the rest of the vehicle. We'll put it that way. But Delaney's busting out some Dreammaker, an oldie, but a goodie.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. How's it going?
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Just finishing up.
Gosh, I haven't used Dreammaker for a long time.
How's the smell?
I haven't either. It's good. I know. I forgot about this, but
no, I love that.
Yeah.
It's great.
Bring it out. Yeah, so I'm almost done.
She's got the Dreammaker shirt, going with the Dreammaker.
Yeah, and using the correct towel for it too. I love that.
Nice.
Oh, I know.
Yep.
I know all the things.
You nailed it. So excellent work there. And Sheepstar temporarily checking in.
Nice.
Sheep, I appreciate when you check in, even if it's temporary.
Yep.
Thank you, sir. All right. Then I've got more replies to other people. Of course, Ron also has to say to Joey, you're the only person who can do the roof of that thing without a ladder or a step stool.
Yeah. Yep.
That's right.
Yeah, he probably was standing flat-footed and saw the roof and thought, "What is she doing?"
In fairness, he just saw. He has to remember what he sees is not what everyone else sees.
Yeah,
most people don't see what he sees. All right, Rags and Brushes. Hi, everybody. Hi, right back, Rags and Brushes. Then Nathan Godinez saying, I was wondering why the Tri-Grip brushes aren't sold individually anymore. You know what? I don't have a good answer for you on that one. I'm sure one of the other crew could weigh in the comments, but as far as that one, I don't know the specifics as to why it isn't sold individually anymore. So that's a good question. I'm sorry I don't have a good answer for you on that.
If I had to guess, just from other manufacturing things I've seen, I don't have any firsthand knowledge of this, by the way, but as far as other manufacturing things, I'm starting to see the packaging and the price of doing individual items. It's almost like the packaging costs more than the item. And so I think it probably comes down to one, I think when, I would look at it and go, well, I think people need 2 brushes, but the cost of doing business for 1 brush in a package is too high that I think it makes more sense to do 2.
It would make the individual cost of the brush, even to the consumer, it would be not what they're looking for. They'd be kind of, I don't want that.
Yeah.
So cheaper by the dozen. Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's kind of like when you look at a half gallon of milk and a gallon of milk, right? It's not like the half gallon is half the price, because that packaging, everything that's involved in that. And so I've seen this a lot, even at Buff and Shine with the pads, it's getting hard to do just one. So my guess is that it has something to do with just manufacturing and the cost of packaging and, because we all like this fancy new packaging, right, on everything. And so I think I'm going to guess that's why.
And I know, like, for example, when it comes to our towels and stuff, because there was a time where you could get, like, individual towels
like
of
one
virtually
FTW,
every single
and
towel
now you
that's
have to
out
get
there.
3, right?
But you got to go the bundle route, because
Yeah.
eventually what you run into is, the cost savings are substantial when you go in multiples.
Right.
But also, just like when you factor in shipping as a business, that kind of stuff, if you're eating the cost of shipping or you're doing these other things, there's just a lot of considerations that have to be made. Also, when it comes down to it, like, we see the sales figures, we understand with this stuff. Realistically, there just weren't that many people who were buying an individual towel, and having the listing and stuff just made the site more cluttered. A lot of those things run into it. If you can consolidate stuff, it makes a lot of sense for everybody just to simplify the listings. So I get it. There's always going to be kind of like a vocal minority who want those things. But realistically, there are very few cases where you're only going to buy one towel of like a workhorse type towel. I get with like a bigger, more expensive drying towel or something, maybe you only want one. But for those smaller towels like Eagles and FTWs and things like that, it doesn't work unless you're getting a few anyway, because realistically, 99% of people who buy those aren't just going to buy one. And so we're trying to cater towards that. So I imagine it's a similar story with the brushes. So good point. All right. Next up, I've got Brandon Reed here saying, is the no rub spray available on the website? I haven't been able to find it.
So it would depend on which website you're talking about. I don't believe TRC has ever carried it on their website. So that would be why it's not on the TRC website, but it should be on the PNS website.
Yep. Okay.
It should be.
Go check her out.
Yeah.
Definitely got a lot of no rub fans around here.
If it's not, send me a DM on the PNS Instagram and tell me.
There you go. Alessio here saying Belgian time at the time of sending this is 22:15, so that's 10:15 p.m.
Well, thanks for joining us at that hour.
That was
of
about
your
50
day.
minutes ago.
Yeah,
so
crazy.
Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, that's so nice.
We definitely don't expect you guys to stay up late if you don't have a reason to. We hope we're not like keeping you up, but at the same time, we're happy you're here. So thanks for doing that. All right. Then fine detailing, clarifying his time. Afternoon, friends. Hey, how's it going? Sheepstar asking no rub spray, not understanding what it is. Maybe you want to speak to no rub a little bit.
So that is a PNS product. So it is basically dressing in an aerosol can. So it's a quick dry, it's basically, it means you don't need to go back and wipe it. It's a no rub. We use it all the time in our shop. I would probably venture to say that it's one of Delaney's top 5 favorite products. She goes through a lot of it. But basically, when we are done with the detail, we go and we spray the like seatbelt buckles, the vents, maybe the inside of the cup holders, places that are hard to reach with dressing. We kind of do it as a quick trim out.
Yeah.
You can also use it like on the grills. You can spray grills with it. Exterior pieces that, the grills, they end up with oxidation stuff. They never look clean. And so this just helps finish everything. It makes
like
everything.
Those egg crate grills.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of
intricate bits.
Yeah. I feel like it's what makes me look like I perform magic. I mean, no rub is like the final like chef's kiss on something that
it's
just
so fast. Too.
Yeah. It just takes you to the next level. Right, Delaney? Yeah. You love a good, love a good no rub. She goes through a lot of no rub.
Okay. Cool. No, that's always good to hear. Then I've got, you know what? Before we go into the next comments and stuff, we're at the halfway point. So I just want to take a moment here, tell you guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't go anywhere, at least not too far. I just want you to go grab a snack or something. Help yourself out. And while you're doing that, hit the old like button. That helps us out too. We really appreciate it. In the meantime, while we show you some messages from our friends and other companies here, I want you guys to... just hang out, and we'll be right back after this. See.
Hey guys, Josh with the Rag Company.
I thought I was going first.
I thought I was going first.
We'll take it.
All right, Josh is from the Rag Company here to tell you about the business program.
You can save up to 25% off different products that we have here at the Rag Company, including savings like Detail Factory, IK sprayers, and many others.
Whether it's pads, polishes, compounds, polishers, we got it all. Chemicals.
We have everything you would need to save you some money so you can start putting more money in your pocket by buying products through our business program.
So whether you're a shop-based business, a mobile detailer, or just running a side hustle out of your garage, please check out the business program.
And you get free shipping on orders over $150.
It's a pretty great deal.
That is a great deal.
The Rag Company business program is for bulk purchase end users only. No tax exemptions unless previously grandfathered in. Discounts apply to eligible products only. Exclusions may apply. Check product listings for details. Minimum order of $150 required to qualify for these discounts. Some brands, tools, or specialty items may not be included. Pricing is subject to change without notice. Visit theragcompany.com/biz to start your application. Act now, stock up, and save big while it lasts.
Hello, 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 and welcome to the second half of Q&A Thursday here at the Rag Company. I'm your host, Dane. To my left, Sydney Bray Gwynn here in the house.
Back for the second half.
Yeah, and back there, if you didn't know, we got Delaney Gwynn hanging out, doing another wash on another Jeep. Just couldn't get enough of the first one from Grand Cherokee to Wrangler. Here we go. Delaney, that's your Jeep, is it not?
Yes, sure is.
You want to tell us a little bit about it or about what you're going to wash it with?
Yeah, so I'm going to do another foam wash. We're doing a decon wash first, and then we're going to go in with a different soap. It's pretty dirty. It rained today, and so that is literally the only reason why it's dirty. But the wheels are so big that it throws up all the gross stuff off the road. So it definitely needs to be washed and stuff, and I'm excited because all the cracks from the fenders and stuff really need to be focused on, so it's going to be good.
Well, that makes sense. There's a lot of movable panels on that thing you can take off, put on, so they leave gaps for all the stuff to find its way in. Yep. So we'll look forward to seeing how you work on that. In the meantime, we got lots of questions and comments to get to. I am going to put up David here. Let's get David Boyce up on the screen. There we go. Dane. Oh, I was going to say, by the way, guys, if you haven't hit the like button, I know you're watching right now. It just takes a second. Please do so. Now, moving back to David. Dane, can I use Armor Interior Cleaner, that's Pilot, on upholstery seats? I want to use it undiluted. Is that okay? I mean, speak to that.
Would you use Pilot on upholstery?
On upholstery, though.
I would say no. Right?
Let's see how Gabe feels about it, because Gabe's had a lot more use with that thing, actually, than even I have. So I'd rather get his input. Hey, Gabe.
Yo.
I got a question for you here. David is asking if he can use Pilot on upholstery seats and wants to know if he can use it undiluted.
Wait, say the last question again.
Yeah,
undiluted?
Yeah,
but could you use Pilot on upholstery? I would be a no, but...
Yeah.
Pilot you can use on upholstery and leather, yes.
You can?
Really?
Okay.
Yeah, you can.
Interesting.
It won't. Now, it's not like Express. It's not going to agitate as much, so that's something to note, but it can be used for both.
Interesting.
Keep in mind, it is, like, the product is focused specifically first and foremost on interior prior to just glass. So the glass thing was a little tip and trick we kind of picked up here in the shop.
Okay, that's what I thought, but thank you for clarifying. Yeah, I knew you had a lot of experience with it, so I wanted to ask you. All right, so moving along here. Thank you, David Boyce. Hopefully that helps you out. Then I've got Arch Nerds here saying, what is the advantage of dry application versus drying aid for ceramic spray sealants? Sydney, go.
This is a great question. So, and again, I'm always going to default to manufacturer's recommendations because there is a lot of ceramic spray sealants that say you can use them as a drying aid. And then there's other ones that are advised against using as a drying aid. So what happens in the chemistry of these is some of them are meant to be, and I don't want to say diluted, meaning you wouldn't dilute it in the bottle, but can they be diluted on the surface with water? Yeah. Some of them are going to be okay with that, some are not. So let's take like Bead Maker, obviously is a great drying aid. It can be, and it does have an SiO2 component in it. It works great on the surface with water, and it can be used as a drying aid. But then like Defender, while you can do that with it, it's not recommended by PNS to use it as a drying aid. Mainly just because it is not meant to be mixed with water, and so we have no idea what protection level you're leaving behind. So if you're really wanting to use a ceramic spray sealant, you want to make sure you're getting the sealant component of it. You want to use it on a dry surface. So, but I'm still going to stand by no matter which one you're using, there is still going to be greater advantages to the dry application over a drying aid. So let's say hypothetically, I have a customer car in, right? And I want to tell them that I'm giving them 6 to 9 months protection out of the sealant. That is me putting it on dry. If I use it as a drying aid on my weekly wash, I'm not going to tell somebody it's going to get 6 to 9 months longevity out of it. Now, for me on my own car, I use Defender every single time I wash my car.
Sure.
But I'm not expecting to get any longevity out of it.
No.
So you really have to look at like what you're doing. Are you expecting to get longevity out of that spray sealant? Then I would do it dry. If you're just wanting to do it because you enjoy using it and you like the hydrophobics and you're going to use it again in a month, use it as a drying aid.
A lot of people, just being frank, who watch programs like this and other kind of stuff, if you're aware of detailing as a concept and you're into maybe buying a product or two, you're probably the kind of person who's applying some sort of protection at every wash. You know who you are. Most of you are doing that. I'm making a broad blanket assumption there. I know there's exceptions, but I bet most of you are doing that. And that's okay. But if you're doing that all the time and it gets diluted by the water on the surface, not the end of the world, because you're coming back next time in a fairly short order, a week or two, maybe a few weeks at most, and doing it all over again. So it doesn't have enough time to really wear it all away.
Right.
But to your point, if you're doing it for a customer or something, I think dry application makes a lot of sense for like a customer car, just to get the most out of it.
Yep, totally.
And you can kind of broad brush that and say for pretty much any situation, it's always going to last a little longer if it gets a dry application. All right. And Joey, seconding the statement to David Boy saying, that should be totally fine. Should work great.
That's interesting. Look, even I learn stuff every day.
So once again, that's why I wanted to get a second opinion. That's what the show's all about. We're not going to pretend to know stuff we don't know. Like we may be experts in specific regards, but there's always stuff people can learn. And I don't want anybody to think that anybody is just the end-all be-all expert and that's that.
Yep.
You should always be willing to learn new things. All right. Next up, I've got Chris here. Chris Boudreau Jr. What's good? Watching y'all from New Orleans.
Nice.
Nolans. What would be your advice and recommendations for a wheels-off cleaning procedure? Factory wheels, so OEM, and protection, budget or mid-level pricing? Oh, so this is like if you're doing this for a customer, what kind of pricing would you expect? Or you're going to be the customer and you're wondering what you should expect from another detailer. I mean, we can hit both options here.
Yeah.
You're a pro.
First and foremost, I'm going to answer this with like erring on the side of a caution because I own a business. I'm not doing it for myself.
Sure.
And so my insurance does not allow me to take wheels off. So I do want to lead with that if you're the detailer and you're providing this service to somebody, double check that. It is a very risky process.
It's a liability.
So I do want to start with that. If you're doing it for yourself, knock yourself out, right? Now, so factory wheels off cleaning, the procedure is going to be, it's going to be way easier because they're going to be off the car. So the time involved is obviously taking them off the car. So you're going to take them off and then you're just going to do your wheels like normal, but you're not going to have to deal with all of your brake calipers and your rotors and all that. So then I'm still going to use like an iron remover, probably more so because, you're getting to all the areas. So I'm going to use an iron remover. I'm going to use a wheel cleaner, all the scrub brushes. I'm still going to do all the stuff. And then I'm probably going to coat them since they're off. That's the best time to coat wheels is when they're off.
Oh yeah.
Now, as far as it's definitely not a budget, we're talking like above Nordstrom level service here, right? So definitely not budget, not even mid-level. This is like fancy smancy. This is fancy smancy.
Serious business.
Right. Now, if you are the customer that are expecting to take it in, again, like you're up here on price and double check that they have insurance to be doing so.
Yeah, I'm once again going out on a limb, kind of making a blanket statement. Most people who are doing this stuff probably don't have that kind of coverage unless you're dealing with a shop that is, let's say, pretty advanced in how they do things. If this is like a guy in his garage or somebody down the street in like a little strip mall parking lot has a shop built into that or something, not to say that's good or bad, anything, there are plenty of great people who do that. Just saying, usually the insurance you're talking about, like you're not looking to break the bank getting the most expensive insurance to cover all your stuff unless you're running a seriously like cover everything shop. I get it. Everybody's different. There's always exceptions, but I feel like just as a general way to look at it, you're working out of your garage at home, but it's a very nice garage.
Yeah.
It doesn't change that fact. It's just, you're not doing that unless there's a very specific scenario where it's like, okay, we worked out in advance.
Yeah.
It's all very understood.
Yeah. And usually when I do the wheels off, it's because they've brought me their wheels they're about to put on the car,
now,
but I don't ever take them off. So I do that all the time.
That's actually a great point, is if you, the detailer, the one who's working on the car, if they are the one removing the wheels, that's where the liability comes from. It's all who touched the wheels. That's where the issue comes from. If you want to somehow remove your wheels prior to doing that, and you're able to ferry it in on a carter, like do it in the parking lot and then bring it in and be like, okay, here you go. Then I guess technically it's no longer their liability, because it's the removal and then putting it back on again. Because if somebody doesn't do it right, this is the same chat we have with people who like unbolt seats and stuff. And once again, it's all that liability, especially in modern cars. There's so many things. But there's too many things that could go wrong. You didn't properly, seat, like a lug or something, you didn't do it right, and that person has an accident later, and suddenly you're on the hook for it. No, thank you. That is not it. So that's why insurance gets a little uppity about that. But anyway, as far as the pricing goes, you're giving them broad strokes, but is there any kind of like broad dollar range that people could expect for those things? I get everybody's idea is different.
Gosh, that's really going to range. Like, I mean, are they bringing in their Bugatti and they want the wheels taken off and cleaned? That's going to be a much higher level. Now, I've had customers say they have a Acura RDX or something. I've had this happen where they have their winter wheels and tires on, and they bring their summer wheels and tires in their trunk for me to clean. Well, I'm probably only going to add $50 for that, because we're also not talking, I'm probably not coating them. I'm probably just, cleaning them really well so that they are really clean when they go to put them back on. And that's great. So like something like that, I'm not charging a ton extra.
Once again, the distinction there is though that you're not the one taking off or putting on the wheels. The wheels are just in the back of the car. You take them out, you clean them up, do the whole thing, and then they go down to their local tire shop or whatever and have them install the tire. Then it's out of your hands. That's a cool way to do it. So actually, if that's something you want to do, you have multiple sets of wheels and tires, and you can rotate them in and out and just throw them in the back or something if the vehicle's big enough to do that. That's probably the best approach, just to avoid all liability. But hopefully that helps. Drew, what's Drew saying?
Let's see.
That's a good question. I sent it, but it didn't pop up. So, Drew here, I will tell you, is saying, can you polish over rock chips on a front bumper / hood?
You can absolutely polish over them, but it's not going to do anything.
Okay.
But you can absolutely polish over them. So, it's not going to remove them. Obviously, the paint is gone. And then let's say hypothetically you're worried about those chips filling up with polish. Usually when you go back over with your towel, that polish is going to be removed, or especially when you go back with your paint prep or your alcohol wipe or something, it's going to remove any of that polish that's stuck in those rock chips. So should not be a problem at all.
Nice. And then Sheepstar here saying, ooh, there we go, Chris, if you're pulling wheels, definitely coat them. Depends on the condition of the vehicle. It may or may not make sense to go beyond a scrub and dress. Very true.
Very true.
I think the internet was just having connectivity issues, but the iPad is working now, so that's good.
All right.
Drew, yes, it won't make them look better, but as long as they're not flaking, it's fine. Yeah. Todd Hill, what are your thoughts on claying a ceramic-coated car? Does it degrade the coating? What about the high and low pH soaps? Are those okay to use on coatings if clogged? Now, Todd, I'm going to say, I've seen this question come up a few times recently. I feel like maybe somewhere out in the greater detailing internet video space, somebody must have made a video about this recently, because the comments and questions keep popping up.
So let's break this down in what type of clay we're talking. Thoughts on claying a ceramic coated car. If it is the synthetic clay that we mostly use here, which is the ultra clay towels, the ultra clay sponges, all that kind of stuff,
towel,
totally fine. I do it every single day. That is my ceramic coating maintenance. I do the wash clay seal on all of my ceramic coated cars that come in. No, it does not degrade the coating any more than normal washing. So all coatings are worn down by friction. So does it degrade them faster? Not necessarily. Every time we wash it, it's wearing down that coating. That's how coatings degrade, is by friction. But no, this is what I do every single coating maintenance that I do. Now, if we're talking traditional clay, that's a little bit harsher. That you want to make sure that you're doing absolutely correctly, but there's probably no guarantee that you may not have to go over that coating with a light polish and then maybe, do a topper or something like that. Generally speaking, I haven't had too many coatings that I've actually had to pull out a real clay bar, just because contamination doesn't usually stick that hard that I've had to go to that level. So just, it depends on the type of clay there, but synthetic clay, you're totally fine. What about high and low pH soaps? Are those okay? So here's the deal. This is why we do coatings, is because they are chemically impervious. So while some may shock the surface of the coating for just a bit, it will come back. And so I think it's totally fine to use them if they're clogged. I use, Crystal Wash if they're clogged. You can use like the Decon soap that Delaney's using. Her car is coated and she's using Armor Detail Decon, totally safe to use. So you really shouldn't have too much problem with the pH of soaps on coatings, but keep in mind you may temporarily shock the surface temporarily.
No,
But
and that's
it
the
won't
goal
hurt
sometimes.
it. Yeah,
so,
it won't hurt it over time.
Then we got BT Dubs 574 saying, if your rims are getting hot enough for regular coating to fail, you're probably driving on the rims as the tire probably melted off. Thank you for that extremely relevant advice, BT Dubs. David Boyce. Oh, David with a question for Delaney.
All right, Delaney,
saying,
we've got a question for you.
Yeah, David wants to know, do you have a favorite rinseless soap that you use? Rinseless wash. Is Absolute still your favorite, or do you prefer Armor's Hero?
Oh, dang. Okay, that's a good question. I haven't tried Armor's Hero yet. That
Actually,
definitely...
she has. She just doesn't know it.
Oh, you
Okay,
gave her
well,
like a secret.
We were running it in the chemtrail for a while last year.
Oh, last year. Okay.
Yeah.
That also adds something. Rinseless is our Absolute is my favorite for sure. I definitely use that on most of my washes. I see no problem with it, but I definitely am open. Should probably try Hero again and maybe some other ones.
Yeah.
All right. The future is wide open. So
Exactly.
keep trying them out.
So
but
Armor, I'll answer for my part of this. So I do like Armor Hero, but it is my number 2, and I always give DJ and Bradley a bad time, and I always say you guys are my number 2. But that's actually saying a lot because it's number 2 out
You've
of
tried
how
a
many,
lot of them,
right?
so,
yeah,
yeah.
and so of course Absolute will always be my favorite. I still appreciate the range of which Absolute can do in other functions versus just rinseless. And so, but Armor Hero is great. But Absolute is still my favorite.
there you hear.
And then also I have found that it's really good just on like the inner seals, the plastic.
Yeah.
If, not too dirty, but you should kind of need to get the dust off and a little bit of dirt, it works super well. Doesn't really take any of the protectant away and just totally does its job. So I use Absolute for a lot of things in my details and washes, so definitely.
Yeah, we run it in the steamer. The steamer is the one for me
true.
that I don't want to
Oh,
give up.
yeah.
Yeah. I love it in the
Great
steamer.
point. All right. Now, I've got 5 pages of questions.
Oh, my goodness.
And not all the time in the world to answer them. So
Yeah.
we are going to cruise. I just love getting in the weeds on this stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
Archie Nerds saying, 97 saying, can I use the TRC Ultra No Soak applicators for just sealant application, then buff off with an edgeless 500? Is that something you would do, Sid?
Sure. I mean, you can use it for whatever you want. Yeah, totally. I usually put sealants on with a towel, but if you want to use an applicator, I've heard of people doing this and no reason that you can't.
Yeah. Now, the question I have for you is the no soak that you're using, is it the puck style one, the round one, or is it the little like 2x4 or 3x5 guys? I'm just wondering which route you're taking, because that would be interesting to me. I feel like that would take longer than using a towel.
Yeah, and I just use a towel. And honestly, I think my fear in using the applicator is that you are going to have it very concentrated on the surface of that applicator. And if you're using a sealant, you may not be able to use the applicator again. So my fear would be washing that applicator and maybe not keeping it distinct for what job it is. And if you try to go use it for something else, it's probably going to reject whatever you're doing. The sealant is probably going to set into that applicator just because of that really short pile. But I mean, I do mine with a towel. And then as far as buffing it off with the Edgeless 500, I think that's totally fine. My preferred towel for sealants is still an FTW, but
also can't go wrong.
But if that works for you, I mean,
yeah, basically, if you're hearing it here, Archie, it's not a wrong way to do it. It's just a different way to do it than what some other people do. I feel just in my gut that using the applicator for that could take a little longer than using a towel to do the same thing would, but if you feel more comfortable because you can like see the work you're doing better by using the applicator, by all means, go ahead and do it. I don't even know what size vehicle you're working on, so I mean, anything's possible. As far as buffing off, though, 500 definitely would do that. And if you haven't tried FTWs or anything like that, I highly recommend you do. All right. Next up, I've got Bearded Hunter saying, afternoon, everybody. Welcome, Hunter.
Nice to
Happy
see
to
you.
have you here. Always nice to see you. Oh, and Juice. What's up, gang? How long can I leave rags soaking in rags to riches? Speaking of sealants getting trapped in things.
Yeah. You know, I've never tested that theory, honestly. I think that, I mean, you could probably leave them until the water started to mold, right?
I mean, yeah, that's the thing is you're eventually going to run into mildew and mold.
The water's going to start to turn kind of nasty. So I probably wouldn't soak them longer than 24 hours. I think 24 hours would probably be the limit before the water, because it is pulling that out, right? So that is going to start to kind of turn fishbowl-ish and mildew and stuff. So you're not going to want to leave them that long. But, you know, I've left them for sure for 24 hours.
Yeah. All right, not so bad. Then I've got Alpha Tango 4 with the shortened name, just going by AT4 now. Sorry I'm late. Dear Sydney, is P&S True View tint safe?
Absolutely.
I think you've been asked before, but I don't remember your answer.
Yes, absolutely.
Easy peasy.
True View and Reflector, both tint safe.
Glad to hear that. And then AT4 also saying, if a person wanted to practice with ceramic coating, which P&S coating do you recommend for beginners? Oh, I know this one, but go ahead.
Man, honestly, I think that we've made them all very friendly to use. But I do think that if you were the most concerned by high spots and workability time, probably Sol is going to be the first one for beginners.
I was gonna point.
Because you have a very long working time. It's very hard to leave a high spot because it gives that rainbow feedback that's very clear and easy to see. And you do have a long working time, and it's just a pretty easy coating to use. And then I'm kind of torn between classic and Sol, or classic and stout, because I think stout, if you watch the how to do it, it's very easy, as long as you do it exactly how the manufacturer says. Classic is a very easy coating, but it's also hard because you can't see it.
We're talking about Inspiration here?
Inspiration Classic. So it is a very easy coating to use, but it's hard because you can't see it and there's no feedback.
I was going to say, I remember Anthony doing it one time on a Civic Hood, and he did not.
Yeah, he was on the version 1. And you guys, this with Anthony and Classic, this has been like 8 years of him hating that coating.
He loved how it looked. It was just the application was tricky at first.
Yeah, but like 5 years ago, it got reformulated, and now it could not be easier, but we cannot get him to try it again because he had so many high spots on his Civic. But and so it cracks me up because it's actually so easy, and it's really hard to leave a high spot. But
the look was amazing.
But you can't see it as much when you're working with it, so it's a little bit harder. Stout, I think, is very easy, but you have to be very intentional on your application. But beginners, to just get comfortable with the coating process, you may want to go with Sol.
Yeah. But once you understand how it works, then you can graduate to something else. Yeah. I would probably say start with Sol and then move to Stout.
Yeah.
Just go right to Stout after Sol and you'll be happy.
Yep.
But that's definitely the order of events I'd recommend. Ivory 79 Preservation and Detailing. Do you use artificial intelligence in any part of your business? If so, in which aspects? If not, where would you use artificial intelligence to further the rag company? Now, I can only speak to what I know about using AI, and as a creative person, I definitely have a strong allergy to AI in many aspects, because I understand people look and say, oh, it's a democratization of like creativity. And it allows people who maybe aren't like naturally gifted creatively to be able to do creative things. And I see that, and I get that, and I promise I'm not trying to be like elitist about it, but I do feel like a part of being a creative sometimes is doing the hard work, learning the skill, like any other thing, like detailing. It's not that it's like incredibly difficult, and like even if you're not naturally gifted creatively, you can learn to do creative things. I know plenty of people who can't draw a picture, but they can build like amazing furniture and do stuff like that. Like there's all kinds of forms of creativity. But anyway, that's a whole high horse soapbox thing I'm not going to get on here. I've got no time to do that. But I will say I use AI to produce some of the backgrounds on thumbnails when I take a picture, but I don't like the setting that I have for the picture, and I just need the subject, car, and person and stuff. I'll cut them out, and I'll change like what the lighting or the setting is. That's areas where I may introduce a little bit of AI, but that's really the extent of it. I don't like doing full AI generated imagery. I just feel like there's way too many. I don't know. I feel also like I have a sixth sense. I can spot that stuff a mile away, whereas other people like are totally happy and oblivious to it. But I feel like I'm just way too aware. When I
like
it.
the human element, but same. I may use it like in the background of a picture, but that's the extent of it for me too. But I don't use it for anything else. I like the authenticity and the authentic.
And other people
human
use
element.
them as like personal assistants or organizers and stuff like that. I don't do that stuff, but I know people who do, and they seem very happy with it. Maybe I'm just the old man yelling at clouds, but it's right now it's not for me.
Now, I will say, though, the only thing I do think AI is funny for is, have you noticed how, like, in the last couple weeks, we have this new AI guy in our groups?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so that AI recap is kind of funny.
It is
like,
funny.
the first couple weeks, I just deleted it without even reading it. And then I've been reading it, and I'm like, wait, that recap is actually pretty funny. It's actually pretty funny. And so now I've started leaving them. But so it is... I think that is funny about our AI is like now in the Facebook groups we have this AI buddy.
The Rad Company group got a little guy that got
every week they
activated.
recap all of the top topics for that week, and that's pretty funny.
Yeah, so every once in a while I see something pop up. By the way, if you're not a part of that group, I don't advertise it very much, but you guys want to keep the conversation going outside of Q&A Thursdays, go there, ask your questions. There's a great community of people who love to weigh in and share their stuff, so you can keep the conversation going there. All right, now I've got way too many comments to get to, so we're going to keep going. Chris saying, I just want to go that extra step. Wheels are satisfying shape. Narrowing down the selection of coatings available is my question. Which ones to consider? So, as Sid, you pointed out before, if there's a coating that works well on the body and it's already high heat resistant, then just go with that for the wheels. You don't need to have a wheel-specific coating unless there's, a coating you're using that's not able to handle high heat, in which case you'd need something separate for the wheels. Tamara Chase. I use Creatures for my interior cleaning. Good call, Tamara. Johnny Jones. What's Johnny saying?
AI is perfect if you have a creative block, yes. If you don't know how to reply to a customer, if you don't know how to start and structure a product description, blog post, etc. Of course, totally.
Yeah, and I definitely get that because, I mean, you don't have to be a writer to experience writer's block. It happens to everybody, and I do like that to get it going. I just also feel like as somebody who spends way too much time analyzing this stuff, I can always spot when the AI wrote something.
Right, because it's just not that
unless
authentic.
a human goes back and like tweaks it a lot to be more in their voice or something. Right. There's just little tells, little cues you can spot. And I'm not even talking about the obvious stuff. There's just something about the way things are handled. It just gives off a vibe, and I always seem to pick up on that vibe. Jimbo Slice, question. Any suggestions for a wash clay and seal in the rain?
So honestly, I'm not going to do anything different. I'm still, and I do my wash clay seals with Absolute because I like Absolute to be on the surface. So my only recommendation, if it were me and it was raining, I'm going to do Absolute, but probably more at like a 128-to-1. Because I'm going to know that rain's going to dilute it on the surface a little bit more as I wash. And then I'm still going to do the clay, the seal, and I'm still going to attempt to dry and then let it rain.
Nice. No, that's great. Using that rain. AT4 Alpha Tango saying, did they update on the M22? Waiting to send my order till I find out if it'll be here this week.
Yes, we did
Alpha,
update.
I've heard murmurings. Sid heard it directly from Lucas. It should be arriving tomorrow. Now, that could mean at the end of the day tomorrow, after everybody's gone home, and it's not necessarily, but I'm saying like it might not appear on the site tomorrow.
Right.
Maybe it will.
Yeah.
But it also might not. So
if you don't hear something by like tomorrow at noon or 1, I would go ahead and submit your order.
Yeah. if you don't mind, being patient until next week, I bet you'll see it next week, if not this week. So yeah. Hopefully that helps. All right, Juice. What's Juice saying? Order 2 of the Slim Dryer Blue. Let's go.
Oh, I
Can't
loved
wait to
them.
try them.
Yeah,
Juice,
loved
you're
them.
going to have fun with those. They're great.
They're great.
And random reviews. What's he saying?
Thanks, guys. Looks like I will be foaming floors this weekend.
Oh, boy.
Person, turquoise wizard wand. Yes.
Watch your step. Don't hurt yourself. That Viper chair just went rolling under the bumper.
Yeah. A little bit too much shampoo plus over there.
Yeah, no, it's getting slick out there. Careful.
As I said, I'm not sure what's going on, but it works.
We got a lot of soap down on that floor now.
Yeah.
I know.
Watch your step.
No, it's all good, guys.
Here we've got Lucas.
Yeah.
Lucas popping in. Hopefully tomorrow, fingers crossed.
See, he's crossing his fingers too, because like me, he knows anything can happen. So it'd be great if they showed up tomorrow, but we're not going to say 100,000% that that's going to be the case.
Yep.
Jure is saying, great to hear this. Interior towels. Thank you. I'm very inexperienced, so therefore good to hear. Takes the doubt away.
Nice.
That's exactly what we hope to do here. And this is why I'm so happy to have people asking questions here. Thank you for watching and understanding the point of Q&A. That's exactly what it's here for. AO and JO photography. What's AO saying?
I have some caked up brake dust on a black Jeep wheel and can't get it off. Is acid the only thing that will do the job? I have used Brake Buster, Dark Fury, Heavy Duty Degreaser, and Adams Wheel Cleaner. So my question is have you used an iron remover? So I would suggest using an iron remover before you go to the acid. And then if iron remover doesn't get it, you're probably right in the fact that acid may be the only thing that will do it. Acid for me is the last step, like the last.
Sure.
Yeah. The Hail Mary. So, but try some iron remover first. Like, I'm not sure that, generally speaking, a degreaser and stuff, I think you need an iron remover.
Okay.
Delaney liked the ADS one. I haven't used that one.
Okay. And
what I noticed, I have not used the Armor one yet. But what I noticed is we didn't smell it.
Yeah, no, I didn't.
I didn't even know she was using
I didn't pick
one.
up a whiff of anything.
That's true.
That's my rule number 1.
Yeah, that was.
If I can smell it, I don't use it.
It was impressive. Well, and that's a short list, is it not? I mean, that's a really short list. So
totally.
Johnny Jones in here saying, acid used very carefully. Dab with a chemical-resistant brush to spot test. Yeah. Anytime you're using something like that, a test spot, well worth it.
Yeah.
A little test on like the edge of the backside of the wheel, somewhere where it's not going to draw attention if it's not good for
Make
the wheel.
sure that's even going to get you there because, like for instance, when I bought my Jeep, it had 9,000 miles on it. I swear they never washed the wheels in the entire 9,000, and it was caked in brake dust, and it had gotten so hot that literally like the chunks of brake dust were burned onto there. There was nothing that was going to clean it, and I just had to take them and have them stripped and powder coated because there was just didn't matter what, and it would not come off. So do a test spot before you go soaking them down with acid. Make sure that that's even going to help you.
And for the record, I've also seen people use acid on wheels where the wheel was okay, but the lug nuts ended up getting stripped.
Yeah.
I mean, there's all kinds of stuff that can happen that you wouldn't even think of until it's too late.
Right.
So just also be aware of that.
Yep.
Umberto here also saying muriatic, 6-1 and done great. Once again, I'm just telling you, be careful.
Yeah.
I know people who are newer at this who think, just get out there and spray a little something on it. Oh, my hands. Yeah, just something horrible happens.
Yeah.
Be really careful, guys.
Yep.
Always use that PPE when working with chemicals, especially one strong like that. If you're using a rinseless, though, I'm not going to get on your case for not wearing gloves. Stefan Germanakos, I hope I pronounced that right. Hi. If I run out of APC, could I use Simple Green as an APC for paint and interior?
So here's the funny thing. I was just thinking this over in my mind as I read this question. I am so bougie about my chemicals now, and I do believe that you need good chemicals to do these things and not harm surfaces. But I will admit that when I first started detailing, Simple Green played a very big role in my detailing company. I used it all the time. Do I think that I could get the same results now? I think I would probably rather die than go back to using Simple Green.
Youch.
So I would advise against it, but I will say it's not like the end of life. But
Right.
I mean, try to keep that APC. But I mean, I did used to detail the entire inside and outside with Simple Green, and now I would probably cringe if I looked at my details, but I didn't ever harm anything. But
Sure.
I'm not sure if I got it clean, and I probably dried the heck out of it. I would say probably use on exterior is probably safer than interior. I probably would not use it on interior.
I'm imagining like it might chew away at like the
Yeah.
print on top of buttons.
Yeah. I mean, I never had any
labels.
problem with it, but like I say, if I had to do it now, I would probably rather die.
I mean,
You
it doesn't look nice finished.
Yeah.
Like you got to
Yeah.
go back over it with like some kind of rinseless or some kind of something
definitely
else.
dress it because it's going to dry it
Neutralize
out.
it.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Safe to say.
Try to not, but I mean, I would rather you use that than Dawn dish soap.
Now, agreed. David Boyce. Dane, what's a glaze product that really impressed you? Dane, any recommendations on a headlight restoration kit or a compound and pad combo? Now, you're asking me this stuff, but I know Sydney jumping at the bit to offer some options here, and I don't want to hold her back. I will simply say, as far as the glaze is concerned, it wasn't exactly a glaze, but talking about the last cut compounding glaze as it was originally known, he meant glaze in a different way. People hear glaze and they think, oh, it's going to fill in stuff.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it's doing. Different kind of product. The way he was using it, Jace Price, who made the last cut stuff, that was more in consideration of extreme high heat working conditions and being able to polish outside. It had a different purpose, had a different meaning, and it was more about the composition of the product and why it worked so well. But you're probably talking about stuff that fills it. So that's all I'm going to say on that. I love the last cut. It's just an excuse for me to say I love the last cut. But Sid, fill them in.
So probably, I mean, glazes aren't very widely used anymore, but the ones that are still out on the market, honestly, they're all going to be pretty good because they've survived the test of time. So I'm looking at products like, PNS has Velocity Glaze, 3D has like Poxy. There's some out there that are a true glaze. I think that they're just not widely used though because they don't provide any protection. They just fill. They're very temporary. I think probably dealerships use them more than anything because they just want to cover everything up and sell you the car.
There's better options out there if you're the owner of the vehicle.
For me,
though.
I don't do that type of work, and I don't want it on my car. So I don't know of any that I love, but I do think the ones that are probably have stood the test of time are probably, they're okay. Headlight restoration, though, I think that the KCX headlight restoration kit is a great place to start because it comes with everything that you need. But if you don't want to do that, then I think, there's a lot where I'm not doing full headlight restoration and I'll use, a heavy cut compound and like a maroon pad or a wool pad. Wool works really great on headlights. That sometime if I just am looking to clean up the headlights, I'll use a wool pad and, even rehab works great. But if you're looking for the full kit that comes with all of the sandpaper and everything like that, I definitely recommend that KCX kit because it really it takes the guesswork out of it.
All right. We're at the 15 minutes to closing time mark.
Oh, wow.
I am back too many pages.
No.
We are going to cruise. So Spencer here, I use Armor Detail Supply beads every time I rinseless wash my wheels. I'll be applying a wheel coating. Once I switch to my winter wheel setup, it's between the ADS wheel coating or the Diamond Protect wheel coating. More of an informational than a question.
Yeah.
Just informing
Perfect, and
us,
I've heard
Spencer.
great things about both of those coatings. So I think either one you're going to be
both
good.
Both are great. Then I got Joey here. Can we get a disco ball attached to the Mosmatic boom? That would make turning around the vehicle a lot more exciting.
Yes.
Then Juice Free asking, will Rags to Riches hurt the Ultra Safe sponge? Not in my experience. But then again, how long are you trying to soak this stuff?
That's what I was going to say. No, but I probably would not soak it more than a couple hours.
It's because he asked that it makes me nervous.
Right.
Like, well, it wouldn't be Rags to Riches' fault. Anything you leave.
Yeah.
If you just leave the USS in there forever, you're going to run into other issues.
Yeah.
Like you would with any sponge or any other mitt or any
you really
product.
only need to soak that for a couple hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, then I got fine detailing here saying placed a big order this week, had to resupply, already needed more release from P&S. Don't sleep on it,
Oh,
folks.
so good.
I've gotten so many wrinkles out of shirts using that stuff.
Oh, it's so great,
It's
right?
so awesome.
Oh my gosh,
I
you
love
guys, major hack. It's like an ironing spray.
Yeah.
But like you don't need the iron.
No,
right?
I sprayed
It's so great.
a wrinkly shirt
Yeah.
with, release,
Yeah.
and then I just threw it in the dryer here at work so we
Yeah.
could shoot a video so I wouldn't have a super wrinkled shirt.
Yeah.
Solved it.
Yeah.
All it took was like 10 minutes in the dryer after that, and it was bingo bango done.
Well, the other day I had all my polos here and we were doing those photos, and I just literally on the floor in the media studio, I just sprayed them with release, kind of patted them down a little bit.
Yeah.
All the wrinkles gone. Like literally the best. And it kind of refreshes your shirt too, right?
Yeah.
No, release it's like, that Downy wrinkle release? It's kind of like that, but it's amazing. Yeah, release is awesome.
Awesome. Super
Awesome.
good stuff. Love that. Let's see. We've got Foreign Power saying thoughts on the KCX S003 foam cannon on sealant and how often can it be applied? Every wash or every few?
Ooh,
I mean,
I'm going to say every few, not
yeah,
every
when
wash,
are you,
right?
How often are you washing it, first of all?
Yeah.
I would say maybe like once a month if you're crazy, but you could go longer than that.
It does leave a solid... It leaves a solid amount of sealant behind that. I would be afraid if you did it every week that you're going to start to have a counteracting build up situation. Yeah. So I'm going to say every maybe couple months, honestly, because that's a good product. And
not even every month, but like
it
2
hangs,
months, 3 months.
Yeah.
And it's still not going to
around.
wear off by then. It'll still be working by that point, but then at least it won't be quite as built up.
Yeah, it hangs around.
Yeah. All right. Julian here, Martinez, Twin Peaks Auto Detailing LLC in the house.
Love it.
Does David Lynch manage your... Well, okay, that doesn't work because poor guy passed away. Rest in peace. But Twin Peaks, awesome. Love that. HE4 Alpha Tango. Lucas can do no wrong. In my eyes. Wow, just loving the Lucas
okay,
today.
Lucas, don't let us down tomorrow.
Don't let it all go to your fro, bro.
Those M22s better be here.
Camro. Hi, when will the new line of clean products and Band the Organizer be available to purchase from New Zealand for delivery there? I'm afraid, Cam, you may be talking to the wrong place with rags in its name. That would be the other place. However, we've been around a good long while. But if you want to talk to them or you want to talk to us, by all means, keep asking questions. We're happy to help you. We just don't carry that line of products. So if you want to go ask them, by all means. But otherwise, we'll help you out with anything you grab over here. All right, Joey. You may want to check with the other rings. Yes, he gets it.
Joey is channeling his inner Dane.
Yeah. Just just keep going and carry on.
Yep.
Hans Closing.
Hi, Hans.
Happy Friday Eve, people. Hans,
Yes.
I'm glad you got in, even if it's at the last minute.
Yes.
Appreciate you. Gabe Garcia Hayden. Happy Friday, Hans. Yes. David Cervantes. Dane, the truck's going well. I did all the body work myself and saved about $4,000. Wow. Truck is currently getting the suspension gone through and an alignment. Should be all done early next week.
Nice.
Happy to hear that, David. Glad it's going well. Keep up the good work. Joey, all this pressure from me to review the blue collars. Hey, man, get it out there. Let people know. Delaney, how you feeling back there, by the way? How's stuff going?
Good. I'm just drying it. I don't know how it took me so long, but we're doing good.
It's your vehicle. You're babying it.
You have more cracks and crevices than the other
I know.
Jeep.
I feel like I'm chasing the soap. It's just coming from everywhere.
Yeah.
But it's going to look good.
Yeah.
No, that's great.
Yep.
Nice.
Just wanted to make sure. And then Demo, oh my goodness, $20 super chat.
Nice.
Shout out to the best rag company. Buddy, thank you so much, Demo. You didn't have to do that, but we'll clap for it. Delaney, it's a rule. We all got to clap.
You got to clap.
When it happens. I know your hands are full.
Does that.
I have to hold fast to the rule.
Yep.
Thank you for humoring me. Yeah. And then Tamara says, yay, pass on the congrats to Anthony. We will, Tamara. Thank you. Baby Fisher is safe. And David Boyce, Delaney,
good question.
What's your favorite tire dressing? Do you prefer the glazed donut look on your Jeep? When is your younger brother going to start driving your car?
Oh, jeez.
Okay, so let's see, where do we start? My favorite tire dressing would either be wipe and shine, depending on the tire. Like if it's a smaller tire, definitely wipe and shine. And then for bigger tires like my own, I like either like dynamic or full send, just because I can put it on there and then leave it to bake for a little bit, wipe it in, and it looks super good. I probably do prefer maybe more the glazed donut, and the reason why is because I feel like it stays longer. You have a few days where it's super shiny, and then it kind of there's different stages, and then it's kind of more matte, and then you just go back to dirty. So that's kind of what I'm thinking there. And my younger brother is never going to drive my car.
Never.
Because it's actually your car.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, the first time he was like, oh, can I move your car? I was like, sure. He took it down the street in an alleyway and tried to like launch it. And then he came back, he goes, that thing doesn't really go super fast.
Yeah.
Like, what were you expecting? So he's never driving it again.
I don't think all the brain cells were firing that day.
Tristan
It's
thinks
okay.
he's Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Yeah.
He does not
Yeah.
need to be driving a Jeep, or we'll figure out why Jeeps have a tendency to roll.
Exactly, yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Yeah.
He needs to stay on low to the ground. For
He
sure.
thinks he is a NASCAR driver.
Yeah.
He'll want a 392 or something.
Yeah.
Just watch.
Yeah.
Alpha Tango here. Oh my gosh! Again,
Look at
everybody
that.
clap.
Oh, Delaney, clap.
Oh man, there we go. I see it. I see it. You're clapping.
Yeah. Got it.
AT4 is saying, Dane,
Nice.
I'm ordering a leather patch hat. Could you, Lucas, Sydney, and Gabe please sign it? You know what? Throw Delaney
Yes.
on there too.
Yes.
I'll put it in the order notes. Thanks, and have a great holiday.
Nice.
Alpha
You
Tango,
too.
thank you, dude. $20 super chat. That's very kind of you. We really appreciate it. And I know Delaney, even though you didn't list her, she'll totally sign
She'll
that
sign it.
too. That's cool. And then next up, he just sends a heart, followed by Robo Traders saying hi.
Hi.
Well, hi right back. Joey, I've tried every possible way to get a free one. Impossible feat. Referring to the Viper chair, I'm sure.
I tried to pay for one, and
Yeah.
it was impossible as well.
Then let's see. We've got Robo Trader saying, "Hi everyone. Have you ever tested Maxwell Remove or other products from this company? Kind regards from Germany." Not familiar
Nope,
with that.
I've not
we'll
heard
have to
from-
take a
not
look
heard
at
of
that.
it, yeah.
But hey, you know what? We're always testing different stuff out. Just because we don't carry it doesn't mean we're not working on it secretly in the background at times, just to test out new brands, because you got to stay on top of things. LHF Detailing picked up a couple bottles of the new PNS release. Sydney, what is the scent? Smells amazing.
Yeah, so it's a complex scent, and I don't really. I mean, it's kind of just a clean. I don't want to say like clean laundry, because it's not a laundry scent. It's just very clean and fresh, but it's not really like florally. It's not really soapy. It's just clean and fresh.
Yeah.
I don't know how
Okay.
I would, but it's a complex scent. It's not just like
Sure, it's not just like
Cotton.
one thing
Yeah.
you can immediately
Yeah.
recall, and
Yeah.
there you go. But by the way, just so you're aware, LHF, SYDNI.
Oh,
I know
yeah, yeah,
Sydney,
yeah.
Sydney was having like a second hand. Just
Thanks
like,
for catching that.
looking
Thanks
at this
for catching
funny
that.
thing.
Yeah, who's he talking to?
It's okay. She just tells us every time that people find new and creative ways to spell her name, and it drives her crazy.
Yep, it does.
Bo James, here's another one. Okay,
Oh,
I still
great.
have my
Perfect.
much loved 2003 Jetta, and
Yep.
yes, still smells like crayons.
Nice.
I'm glad you're able to back me up on that, Bo. I swear, it's not just me smell that. It's
Nope.
it's how it goes. And
Yep.
the older German cars, they all have the headliner set.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's the Eagle One product I was talking about, the Never Dull. So it's called Never Dull in the tin
Okay.
can. Yeah,
Thank you, Just
Yeah.
Average Nelson.
you are right.
And then on to the next page. Here we go. Now we're cruising. Let's keep it going. We got to get in the next 6 minutes. We got to get these. Dave Detail. I'm detailing a Lambo soon for its trip to Italy. Oh, it's going back home. I'll be giving it a hand polish and want to make it extra glossy. It's white. Can I use Beam Maker and top it with Dream Maker straight after?
Sure, but if you want just a quicker hack, you can actually mix the two together and just do one wipe down when you're done.
There you go.
So that would be, I usually like to do it a little bit heavier. So I do like 8 parts Bead Maker, 2 parts Dream Maker. I just kind of eyeball it, but you can actually mix the two together. But you can do it separately as well.
There you go. She's the expert when it comes to that for sure. So you're hearing the right advice. Then I got David Boyce. Dane is a screwball brush, gentle enough to agitate on leather vinyl seats. How about gentle enough for upholstery seats? Does Delaney use the screwball brush? I'll start with you, Delaney. Do you use the screwball at all?
She probably doesn't know what that is. That's that black, it's the Detail Factory. It's like the curveball, but the screwball, the black and
This?
black. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, so I haven't used this yet. I was planning on using it for my tire shine today on my mom's
Okay.
car,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I didn't get there. But
Yeah.
I did use, what is the other one called that has like the softer?
Curveball.
Okay, I used that for the first time today, just cleaning the wheels, and I really liked that. I thought it was
yeah, me
super
It's
too.
cool.
fun, huh?
Me too.
Yeah, like just as like kind of like to get the last water and soap off. I really
Yeah.
liked that.
I love the curveball.
Yeah.
The screwball, yes. So to answer your question, David, yes, you can use it on leather and vinyl. It's not my favorite, though. It's just not. But my one and only favorite use for it is tire dressing. Trust me on this. It's an amazing tire dressing applicator.
When you have tires, especially like off-road tires, mud terrains, all-terrain, stuff like that, things that got the blocks in the tread, that's where you really, really see that stuff shine.
Yeah.
While using
I
tire
love
shine.
the screwball for tire dressing.
But for interiors, like you're saying, you can, but there are better options.
Yeah, there's just better, easier options, but you absolutely could. There's just,
I mean, really, when it comes to agitation, sure. But I think as far as like spreading product around, you could probably go with like more of like a terry applicator, things like that. More basic towels you can do it with. A lot of times a chemical will do most of the work.
Yeah.
All right. David Boyce also says, SBG, besides door jams, what's your favorite jam, music-wise?
Oh, man, I'm all over the place. I would say that I probably listen to country most, but, like country rock type, like, faster paced country. But I also listen to rap. I listen to Snoop. I love the old, I love the old 80s rap.
There we go.
But I'm all over the place. I love a good, jelly roll. Yeah.
Okay. So you got some diversity
all over
there.
the place. Yep.
David Boyce, you just went. So now we got Drew here saying, would really like to have smaller, not too small, so like a 10 by 10 towel that would be safe and great for my glasses. That's eyewear. Big enough to clean and dry with the same cloth. Thank you for considering. Jury, I don't know if you're aware, but we do actually have, we call it, with YouTube, you got to be careful what words you say. I would say it's called a firearm kit, and it comes with several different size micro suede towels, has some knit lens cloths, a lot of good stuff. I mean, it's probably overkill for just one pair of glasses, but it does give you an excellent assortment of different polishing grade, glass grade towels that would work great on smaller surfaces like cell phones, watches. People are always looking for ways to get their hands on like our knit lens cloths that we give away free with the orders. But I mean, this is like the best of the best. And all you got to look up is our firearm kit. It's awesome. Yeah. All right. Then I go to, boy, that's a lot of pages here. Yes. Oh, Dave Detail. Is Slim Dryer coming to the UK? I would say yes. I don't know the exact timeline on that, though. You would want to speak to John Hull over at Clean and Shiny UK. He is the guy carrying all TRC stuff over there. So get in touch with Clean and Shiny, and they'll be able to give you a better idea. And, hopefully it makes its way soon. All right. Then, loving the beats in the IK video. An alkaline toe pad. We've got Dan saying, would it be possible for TRC to review their shipping system? It doesn't allow shipping to Alaska, yet Obsessed Garage's system does. I'll pass that along to our web team, Dan. Hopefully that helps out. But in the meantime, we'll just have to sit with what we got, just for now. Then I will move along. Oh, Lucas already has an answer for him. We are able to ship to Alaska. However, we are only able to ship towels and most non-liquid items at this time. Excellent help, Lucas. Thank you for that. That's important for anybody watching.
Yes.
Then Jury here also, looking forward to that no rub in the Netherlands. PNS Absolute is my favorite chemical, and it's the sole reason I'm now the one always washing the windows of our house. Thank you for my wife, I suppose.
Awesome.
That's great.
I do believe that an order is on its way to the Netherlands right now, so keep your eye out for that. I'm pretty sure that there is some on that order. So fingers crossed, but I do believe it's on its way.
All right. And then Super Auto here, Al, saying, better late than never. I'm glad you got in right down to the wire, literally within the minute.
Yeah.
And David Boyce, I'm going to end on your comment here. Delaney's Jeep is menacing, with a bunch of emojis after it. I'm sorry to everybody whose comments and questions I wasn't able to get to today. I've been really diligent about keeping us on time and fairness of the folks behind doing the switching on this. But I really appreciate everybody who tuned in. Sydney, is there anything you want to tell folks before we go?
No, just have like a really great weekend, right? I mean, it's a 3-day weekend. Enjoy your families, enjoy barbecues, hot dogs, all the good stuff. And, obviously observing Memorial Day as it should be. And just, I think that's just the point of it is, to enjoy your family, your friends, and take a day for yourself. And, enjoy the long weekend.
And then shout out to Delaney back there. Yeah. Thank you so much for being our detailer for the day.
Yeah.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Making her do the double duty.
But
Now, out of the stuff that you did do today, was there anything that stood out to you as being the most fun or something that you hadn't tried before that you're excited to get a chance to do?
I would say I'm definitely glad that I did the foam washes.
Okay.
I think I had a lot of fun with that. Oh wait, guys, let me get in here.
Yep, you're just too tall.
There you go.
There we go.
I definitely am happy that I did that, and I think they look really good. And now I gained a new skill. I think I'm pretty confident in that.
Yeah.
I could do it by myself.
Yeah.
So now got the rinseless wash, foam washes.
Yeah.
You got it.
I'm excited. Yeah.
No. Thank you,
Sometimes
Delaney.
you just need
we
the
appreciate
foam.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're welcome anytime to do another detail.
Thanks.
We'll definitely, whatever your rates are, we'll work on that
Okay,
and figure it out.
Yeah, she's
Make
almost
sure.
summer. She's
Yeah.
almost summer.
Yeah.
Can I say one last thing?
Yeah, of course.
Because this is how impressive Delaney is. Not only is she a good detailer, so she just finished her freshman year in college and she got a 3.94 GPA.
Nice.
That's pretty impressive. I'm pretty
Good
proud
job.
of her.
Yeah, the A-.
Yeah.
A- got me, but
Yeah.
that's okay.
Yeah.
That's still a proud mama moment,
Yeah.
so that's good.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Have a wonderful Memorial Day weekend. And, of course, we got the sale going on the website, so be sure to check that out, theragcompany.com. And, take care of yourselves, take care of your family, and we will see you next week for yet another Q&A Thursday. Who knows what that'll bring, but just got to wait until then. See ya.
See ya.